welcome to Liverpool 12th Man Show. Yes, we are back. At least I am back. I know the Irishman's been free to do what he liked, but I know with myself, I have been bogged down with a lot of stuff going on. Had to take care of some business, but we are back to one of the few things that I do enjoy, I do appreciate, and I do look forward to, and that is being together with our brethren here, you and I together with the Reds, the whole nine. So we have the Irishman here today, though, and I wanted to make sure. How are you doing, the Irishman? How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm YouTube refreshed, YouTube re-entered. What would you call it? I don't know. I enjoyed I enjoyed not
Revitalized?
being on. Yeah, I enjoyed not being on for a few days, not
Yeah,
being
taking a little
doing stuff.
break. Yeah,
Yeah, it was
revitalized.
good. I didn't go on any other things. I didn't. I actually completely just ignored football YouTube for a few days. I was just whenever you were going to text me and say you're going to do a show, I was like, okay, cool. I start looking at different stuff, but I kind of gave it a bit of a miss there for a while.
Yeah,
It was nice.
it's kind of
Must say,
wild
it
too.
was
When I
nice.
started, I was watching a lot of other channels and stuff. I mean, I was still like, I still had it on in the background and everything else, and I was like, okay, this is different, definitely different. You're hearing a lot of different crazy takes. A lot of people.
Yeah, it's fever time. It's fever time. I think that's what I call it. Fever time where everything is ramped up to kind of 11.
Yeah,
People are really people are really on edge and kind of. I don't think even one big like maybe just if you had one big signing to come in the door might calm a few people down, but it is it's
yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's not a place to have mild opinions because people are very angry slash people are very
yeah,
defensive.
yeah. We're gonna get into some of that too today because that was one of the things I was like, just when you thought you're out, they pull you back in like like the
Yeah,
Godfather, like I know, yeah, we definitely have to uh on the behind the door game with Preston. Oh, you know what? I don't have a report on that, but I do have some cool announcements to make as well about I do have to crown the fantasy
oh
winner.
yes, we can wait till people come in that were involved
Yes,
if they
yeah,
want to show their faces, if they want to
yes,
think,
because there's a lot of
you know
talk. There's
there
a
was a
lot of
lot of
talk.
talk.
I
There was
dropped
a
the
lot
ball
of
a little
talk.
bit. That's the thing. I dropped the ball a little bit this time because I didn't even get to update my team on the last day. I was like, oh man, this is not gonna be good. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, we
That's
have
it.
some of those updates to give. Also, yeah, I wanted to address some of the things I've been like hearing on different channels. Some of the we've had some big news be dropped in the transfer window. Unfortunately, that big news doesn't involve us directly, but it does.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
bit of
does
an
involve
incendiary
us.
that one.
By the way, say again.
A bit of an incendiary that one. Very very
Yeah,
strange.
yeah, because it's one of those things where it's like, oh man, people were
We can get straight
really
into it
biting
if you want to
that.
get straight into the RO. We can get straight into it.
Oh well, I did have a way. I mean, like we get straight into the Euro thing. I mean, like
Yeah.
that
All right.
was a talking point. One of the my question was going to be Euro opportunity missed or problem avoided, because like why I put it in that particular way, and that's the reason why I was asking the question, is because albeit Euro was a player that I would have been happy to see us involved in. Happy to see us get bring in as a player for this team. But what I did want to say is, oh, big up Revenite, by the way, big up Revenite. Hope that you're well too, man. Been
Revenant,
a
how are
while
you,
for
man?
sure.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
been
hope
a
things are
while,
going
dude.
well with with the fitness and everything that you got, the regiment that you got going on, and hope that you're well in general.
Yeah,
But what I was going to get at, and again, this is an open conversation. Obviously, I'm asking directly to the Irishman, but then again, I'm asking the chat as well. With Euro, we were involved. It was a player again that I would have liked to seen come to this team, but there were, let's be honest, some very big red flags. No pun intended. And his desire and his focus being on Real Madrid is a concern. I understand that that's a concern for a lot of players and such, but for him particularly, it was a concern to the point where he was almost willing or looking to be willing to go to the extent where he was going to, just write out his contract and go to Real Madrid at the end. He said they would come in. They put a bid, but it was a very, very low bid, something like 20 some odd million, I think, or something like that, right?
Fair bid, I thought.
A fair bid for an 18-year-old with 1 year left on this deal. Absolutely fair bid.
Totally
Absolutely fair bid. But again, it was something where that's not the team he wants to go to. And there's been a lot of people, pushing the narratives of the fact that we didn't go in, because I know that we were, monitoring the situation, but we didn't necessarily go fully in the way that the Red Devils did by making it's been reported, I think it's like 60, it's like on the verge of being like 60 million, I think, I want to say euros, that is, since they're dealing with an actual French team. And then not only is it 60 million, but there's another like 8 million or something like that involved in, or something along those lines, like up to 4 to 8 million that are involved in incentives or bonuses as well, that are very accessible, like achievable bonuses. So you're looking at like about 64 to 68, closing in around that 60 and a half, 65 million, let's call it, just to round it off. 65 million, around 65 million euros is an 18-year-old with 1 year left on this deal worth 65 million euros. And it's been reported that one of the reasons why Liverpool didn't get involved or didn't really, push the envelope was because
of everything you just said.
Yeah, that. And he had demands. His demand was he gets playing time. If he's going to go to another club, he was demanding that he gets preferential treatment on playing time, and that he was going to have in his contract, it was going to be that he is a preferred starter. Okay. And that's a little, I get that you're a phenomenal player. I get that you have a lot of promise. I get all these different concepts on or different angles on the conversation, but those are some red flags for me. Whereas it's almost where it's like, I'm not saying he's a problem, but I'm just trying to get across that, it could be something of an issue that maybe it was a problem avoided as opposed to an opportunity missed. What are your thoughts? And big up to Bernie and Marion in the chat, by the way, too. Hello. Always a blessing when we have some Reds Queens in the house. So always a blessing.
Yeah. The thing with all the bits and pieces there, I don't know about that. So, again, I think him demanding to play, that could have been something that was blown up a bit. Maybe him just wanting assurances about, are you buying me to start me? Are you buying me to be a backup player? What's the story?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know that much about that one. So I'll leave that one to one side. But it's like the whole, why we're getting, I don't know why. I can't, it's like one of those kind of love triangles or something that one of the people isn't involved in it. For some reason, you're kind of looking, why am I involved in this mess? Why is our name being brought into it? We were interested. We had a look, and we said, what's the story? and he asked us to hang tight. Lille probably would have told us what the money was. Lenny Oro, we were like, okay, we'd be probably interested in that. Lenny Oro turns around to us and goes, yeah, look, I'm kind of waiting on Real Madrid, so we're just, well, okay, cool, see you later,
Mm-hmm.
see you later. So thanks, thanks for telling us, but yeah, we're not going to be waiting outside, twiddling our thumbs, hoping, they don't ring him and that he gets, has to choose us. No, we just move on if the player is like not going to get the same feeling for Liverpool that he gets for Real Madrid. Put it that way.
Right.
So if he was prepared to would do what I think he wanted to do, which was to just say, right, okay, cool, uh, I'll just play away there at Lille, and next season, as long as I don't break my leg, Real Madrid will come in and it'll be good. And Lille are like, no, 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 that ain't happening. You are going to go. So he said, yeah, yeah, but I don't want to go to Man United. Why would I want to go to Man United?
Right.
Now do you understand why he's making these demands in Man United? Because he's going somewhere he don't want to go. Makes a little bit more sense to me now. Like
Yeah.
he's like, I don't want to go to that shithole, crap hole, club on fire kind of
Right.
thing. And they're like,
Yeah.
look, they're
Maybe he's
offering
not
us
into water.
50
Maybe he's just
million
not into
quid.
waterfalls. Maybe.
Yeah, like they're saying there's 50 million quid on the table from these lunatics in Manchester. No one has given us. So they turn around to him and say, right, well, we won't play you. If you don't go there, we're not going to play you. So you're going to
Well,
sit here and rot on the bench. Now that's
yeah,
what came at.
that was
That's what they said
reports,
to him.
Brian. That was
Yeah, yeah,
reports
exactly.
that they were saying,
So,
look, Red
but I'll
Devils
just
have
finish
offered
on
us a
this.
lot of money.
Yeah,
You either take this deal or we will not play you.
yeah, they were bullied. They bullied him into basically leaving. So yeah, like you're talking about, like that for me is like the other red flag in it that he was basically forced to
Yeah,
go to Man United.
right.
And like it's a really, really horrible, and I cannot understand why we are somehow being used to create drama out of this for us.
Right.
You think we're the only club that did what we did, that went up to him and said, "Hey, do you want to go out for a date on Friday night?" And he's like, "Oh, well, I might, but I'm going to wait until this other
Yeah,
guy
I'm waiting.
rings me."
I'm waiting for
Yeah, no,
that
okay,
phone
no, you're
call.
fine, girl. You're fine. You're fine. Don't worry. I'll move. No, don't worry. Don't ring me back. You're all good. You don't want to.
Yeah,
If you want to go out with someone else, that's all good. We'll move on. No, no
right.
harm, no foul. No offense taken. You're not going to sit. Oh well, yeah. I'll just go. Like I said, well, okay, we'll go and sit at home and wait then until get. Oh yeah, then you ring us at like 6 o'clock on Friday. Oh well, actually, the other guy rang me, so I'm going there. No, we'll go off and make our own plans. You go and do your life. You live your life. We'll live ours. But we're not going to be bridesmaids or whatever you want to call it. As soon as he makes that kind of scenario plain to us, uh, like Man United should be the laughing stock in this, as far as I'm concerned. I don't.
But they're
It's
not.
anger
Have you
channels.
heard?
It's
They're making
anger channels
songs. They're making songs. They're making they're acting as if like Euro chose them as opposed to Euro got.
over us. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Whatever. Yeah, no, 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 no.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
you
the
go live.
issue.
If you want to live in that world, you live in that world.
That's
We
the
weren't
thing that
paying.
kind of threw me for like a loop where I was just like, oh, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go the routes of some of the, some of the content creators. They go out there and say, oh, well, he was never good in the first place, or he was never someone that we wanted to, No, I'm not going to go that far, or I wouldn't even go down that route. As in, like, look, there's a player that I was definitely interested in seeing if we had options to get to do, but considering, there were so many again, like um, he's going to a team that isn't even in Champions League. So it's not like they're giving him the option to play in some exceeded, level of the competition to allow for his brand to grow or whatever it is that he's trying to incorporate. But as Revenite just mentioned in the chat, there was the conversation about the fact that it was about 10 million or something like that in agent fees that were added on top of that number. Okay, then 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 you also get to the point of the salary structure that we have. There was the reports of that, when we got Rio, who technically is our first signing, I guess you could say, for this window. that the wage structure for the team, for the youth teams, was going to get changed or it was getting negated for the special player and the whole nine. And then it came out that that wasn't the truth.
Yeah.
With the wage
we have
structure for the
quality.
senior team, I'm gonna bring this question to you. With the senior team, there's somewhat of a loose-minded wage structure that exists even with the senior team, and the wages that he'll be put on at the Red Devils was one that would have put him higher than obviously higher than Kwanzaa, but higher than Kanate, higher than some players in our own team that have worked towards getting these pay increases and pay raises in their wages. But yet you're being 18-year-old that is going to get one of the highest wages in the locker room, and you don't think that would have been an issue? Those are things what I'm trying to bring up and say is that not something of why which side of the fence are you on then? Are you saying that it's an opportunity missed, or are you saying that it's or is it a problem avoided possibly?
Can you just carry that for one more second? 1 second.
Yeah, no problem. Because that's what, and I'll ask, and this is a question to the chat too. I want to know if you guys are you angry about this in the chat, or are you, or is this something like was this a player that you had such hopes and promises for, to the point where like we're seeing it as like, oh, this is a real opportunity missed, or is it a problem avoided with all of these other things that would have been brought to the fold? That's the biggest question for me, and that's the question that I would love to hear your opinions on, because like I think personally that he's a talented player. I would love to see him grow and become a phenomenal player. Not saying he can't do that at Red Devils. I'm not saying that I'm definitely not hoping he does it at the Red Devils, but it's one of those cases where it's like, yes, I'm not going to say that this is a good potential player of excellence. However, with the agency, with the fact that he wants to go to Real Madrid eventually, if not sooner than later, especially if some window opens up for opportunity for him to go there. If it ends up being with the I think I just mentioned the wages, but if it ends up being also with the playing time, like all these things, was it a case of was that still all worth it for you? And again, this is for the chat, and this is for you, Irishman. If you're back,
not that money, man, not that money at all. Like that just wasn't for us. As soon as I knew that, as soon as whatever it was a month ago, and again, like I saw someone put up an article today. It was something like top six transfer targets. It's okay to admit you've never seen play. And Lenny Yaro is kind of one of them, because I'd be up there with them. Because I guarantee it, like all of these rage bait channels and all these people that are out there getting angry just for the sake of it, I could say I could walk up to all of them and say, you've never seen the guy play, and I reckon I'd be right 90% of the time. And when I was wrong, I'd say the people might have seen highlights of him, and I'd say maybe 2% have seen him play over 2 games of football.
Mm-hmm.
That's so, and they're all getting absolutely outraged about this kid.
Yeah.
As soon as I heard that he was interested in Real Madrid and he was waiting for them, that for me then, like, that was okay, because even if you were to go and sign someone like that, then it's pretty much from day one the rumors about him going back or him going to Madrid, when will they just wouldn't go away. And the better he got, or the more successful he was, it's because he's already told you what he wants.
Exactly.
He can't turn around now. Like, he can't turn around and kiss that badge now, and say, this is where I always wanted to be, because he literally came out in public and said, well, I don't care in public, but it's common knowledge that that's what he wanted. So it's a hard sell. He's got to go somewhere, and what they've done is they paid him enough money to ignore all the bad things, basically. It's just how football works usually. If you paid him enough they'll ignore the this and they're gonna ignore the that, and then an extra 50 grand a week means you won't worry about that. So yeah, he's not. That's what desperate clubs do when they're
Yeah,
desperate to catch up, but they're rich. Man
yeah.
United are very, very rich. They can throw this
Hmm.
kind of money around, and they're desperate to get
Especially
back.
with
So
this
they're trying to get in.
this insertion of new cash as well, with the best new investment they have as well. Those
What they
are
can't do is, it's like where we were before. What they can't do right now is sign the plug and play, ready made, big name superstar player. Even don't have to be superstars, but the players who do care about whether it's Champions League or not. Those
hmm
guys who get the money, they'll get enough money anyway.
hmm
So what they're trying to do now is what we were trying to do when we were unsuccessful in the 90s. We were always trying to buy the next big thing. And we were gambling on getting the 18-year-old Lenny Oros of this world.
right.
The Bruno Shea, rather, because we couldn't go out and persuade. We could pay, but we couldn't persuade the big guys to join Liverpool because they're like, lads, you were seventh last year. So we
Right,
were
right.
always trying to go, and
Yeah, okay.
that's what Man United are trying to do now, is get
Yeah.
ahead so they can get these guys rather than just what the bigger clubs would do, is just wait for him to turn into a world class player and then go and buy him.
hmm
United don't have that pull anymore. They've got the money, they've got the finances. If they didn't have that money, they would be in a whole heap of trouble because they
Yeah,
can just 10 million agency. Okay, write the check.
yeah.
That's 10 million is a good player. 10 million buys you a good player if you do it right. You can get it. You could still buy a good Premier League player for 10 million quid. If you did it right. Obviously not a superstar, but that's a huge amount of money. So
Yeah.
let them make those crazy. Buy a guy who told, like, I mean, Madrid and Manchester, like the only thing similar, they both start with the same two letters. After that, it's all very, very different.
It
There's,
is. Excuse me.
so yeah, let
Well,
them go
yeah.
there.
Bottom line then, were you
Oh,
is
I
it
said, oh yeah, no, I've said it. Yeah, loads of.
oh,
I think everything I've said. Yeah, no, I didn't. Yeah,
problem
huge.
avoided basically.
Oh,
Problem avoided.
obviously, yeah. No, clearly, obviously, yeah. Didn't
Yeah.
want anywhere near it. Like I said, as soon as he started talking about Madrid, I was like, nope, I'm no interest in that guy anymore. But and just don't forget as well, it's Jim Radcliffe's club. They bought him from Nice, from Jim Radcliffe's club.
Yes. Yeah.
So there was obviously a lot of influence going
I
on
would
there.
assume so. I mean, like,
So
yeah,
yeah,
wouldn't it be, wouldn't he have some type of like, influence over, them making a hard stance of saying,
he may
hey,
have been able to make a phone call or two. Let's just put it that way. Yeah.
yeah,
And he would
yeah,
definitely have had insider knowledge of Leo's stance on the issue, which is probably not great
yeah, yeah.
from a professional ethics point of view. It's
hmm
kind of similar to insider knowledge. I just know that's not a good thing in business. So
hmm and I can get that. Okay, so
conflict of interest. That's the phrase I was
conflict
looking
of
at.
interest for
Conflict of
certain.
interest. That's the
I
phrase I
mean,
was trying
look,
to. Sorry, I went
it's
blank on that.
yeah, no, conflict of interest is something that is going to be a situation. UEFA, FIFA, FA, all these different organizations that minister these the football world that we live in. Is going to have to really, really like figure out, because we're going to have now a lot of these clubs especially these multi-team clubs now, and it has been reported that we've
Oh, hey,
actually
Dakota.
yeah, that we've now taken a back step from the pursuit of Bordeaux as being a club
Oh, is that off the burner? Is
that's
that?
now off the burners. Yep,
Ah, okay. I
we
missed
no
that
longer will
story.
be pursuing them as
Oh,
a club of interest.
what did we find out there was
It was
foundational
too much
issues?
involved. There again, it was because it was too much involved with the cost of the stadium was a big factor in us saying it's a little bit too much for us. And then also the fact that the revenue that was going to be generated wouldn't have been substantial enough to make it to create a self-sufficient entity in itself. It was just too big of a hole basically for them to dig out of. So hey, I got a surprise for everyone. A big surprise, a good surprise. We have Lee with us as well. We have Lee.
Oh, okay. That's okay.
That's a good one.
I don't like surprises.
Hey, this is a good one, Lee.
Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you don't like surprises.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, seriously.
Pick up. How are you doing, Lee?
Good.
Hey, Lee.
Hi, Brian.
Do you like surprises, Lee?
Yes and no.
Oh, Lee.
What is it? Surprises and bad surprises.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, if public, I know you guys don't have publishers.
Okay, sorry.
House,
good
like,
surprise.
There's a thing called
good surprise. Yeah, nobody likes bad surprise. Okay, but
there's a thing in America that's called Publishers Clearinghouse or something like that, and they would like sign for subscriptions or all that other bull crap, but like they would knock on doors and be like, oh, you're a millionaire, that kind of thing. I don't think you'd be too down in the dumps if someone knocked on your door and like a big check and said, "Hey, this is for you."
Okay, right. Okay, let's just say it's more the type of like getting somewhere, and they say someone basically says, "Oh, I'll meet you in the pub," right? And you go, "Yeah, cool, meet you in the pub," right? And then you get there, and then there's someone there like that you haven't seen in like 5 years. But the person that was inviting you knew they were going to be there. They're like, I thought I'd surprise you. I'd be like, nah, man, just text me, man. Just text me so I know he's going to be there. I don't like those kind of surprises. Yes. You're friends. Yeah. It's no. Let me know. I don't like surprise parties. Parties. Yay. Surprise parties. No. Yeah. No. Yeah. No. You need to be prepared for some things.
No, this is a good surprise, a good hello to the world coming from Lee. How you doing, Lee?
Nice jersey as well.
Again?
He's got a nice jersey.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
what's that? Is that 90,
I was gonna say, what year? What?
97?
I'm going to say this one is possibly 98, 99 season. I think it might have been.
Oh, we definitely rated that one, didn't we? We rated that one.
Oh yeah.
Nice shot, this one. I quite like this one. I like the black detail there. Yeah, I'm going the wrong way.
Yeah.
Black detail on the shoulder and that, like, you know what I mean? I like that. Always like that.
You know what though? That was like was that our third jersey, or was that the third kit, or was that the away kit? It must have been
that's the away kit.
It was the actual first choice away kit that season.
Yeah, it is.
I think, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we haven't done. We need to do that episode. Yeah, we did an episode, Lee, where we rated all of basically the Premier League era of home kits. We just did the home kits first because there's so many. Now home kits, goalie kits, away kits, third kits. There's so many kits, but like I have to. Reebok was the Reebok had some decent kits, to be honest with you. Reebok had some decent kits. It was a short little relationship, but
there was a couple of ones that I wasn't massively keen on, but in the main, most of the Reebok ones were okay. It wasn't a bad era of kits. Yeah, I can't remember how long it went on. Like you just said, it was fairly brief, wasn't it? The Reebok thing.
Well, it was a few years. Yeah, there was a lot of Heskey Reebok, a lot of Heskey in Reebok. I remember.
Yeah, I remember Heskey in this kit.
A lot of Owen in
99, I think. Yeah. I remember Heskey and Owen wearing this kit, so I'm going to say 98, 99 rather than 97, 98, because Heskey didn't come until 98, 99, did he?
Yeah, it's a nice kit with the goal on it as well. Yeah, you can't. You see, when we were rating them, we were just doing them off kind of like graphics, so it wasn't like a graphic of it. So when you actually see it on somebody, it looks different as well. But yeah, we can do the away kits because they're actually more, because it was just a lot of red kits. We were just rating red kits, really, weren't we? At least the away ones get a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, at least you'll have a little variety of like colors being involved with the away kits, as opposed to
Yeah,
just
I've
red,
always,
red, red, red. How many
yeah,
different
I've
colors
always
you get?
Yeah.
liked the away kits for that reason, just because it's a departure from the red that we always see. Not that I don't love the red, but I've always liked the white and the green ones, white and green, and the yellow. The yellow was the first one I ever had.
Oh, yellow kit is classic.
Yeah,
Any
yeah, yeah,
a yellow, a yellow Liverpool kit. But don't
yeah.
forget as well, we all know what's going to win that one. It's going to be the 87, 88 silver candy. That's
Oh
an
yeah, yeah,
iconic
yeah, yeah,
away
yeah,
kit.
yeah.
Yeah.
That just kills that one. So yeah. But anyway, yeah, we're gone off on kits already. We're not even
Yeah,
ready.
no, let's get back on focus here. Let's get back on focus. Because now that we have Scouts Lee with us, like I definitely wanted to ask this next question then, because it was something that I thought is related to the Euro thing, in that would you, and this is a question for the chat too. So all the questions are always involved with the chat too. It's not unlike a lot of conversations. Sometimes when you get on a lot of these channels, it seems like it's just the panel having the conversation, and then the chat's just like having their own. Like as in ours, we do a little bit of a different makeup sometimes. A lot for the majority of our shows here on the channel. We always like you to be an active part of the conversation. And I was going to ask this. Would you be disappointed if we don't make any signings this
Oh God.
summer?
Don't even put it out there. Don't even put it
I
out
know.
in the ether.
There you go. There you go. And the reason why I can bring context to it, I can bring context if you like.
I'd rather you
Look at
didn't.
it this way. I asked that question because if you look at our team, and this is just the honest God truth, if you look at our team, we are pretty stocked when it comes to, and that's just saying we don't bring players in, we wouldn't be obviously letting players leave, but we are pretty stocked when it comes to senior players, when it comes to players returning off a loan that could compete for senior positions, whether it's players that we didn't expect to, but have now transgressed into being senior players, whether it's your Connors or whether it's your Kwanzas, okay? Because I don't think any of us had them being solidified players that we could commit to being every day, every game style players. But now that we do have that in mind, would you be disappointed if we didn't make any signings this summer window?
Yes, I would, Kent.
Okay, I know that's a trigger probably for probably some of the chat, if not for the panel. But Irishman, you just said your answer. You said you would be. You can elaborate. Then I'll ask Lee for his.
Yeah, you got to go with I know you can make the case, and you made a half decent case for the sake of it. I know you had to make a case, but you can't really make a case for us not strengthening at center half and defensive midfield.
Okay.
Because I think that you couldn't everywhere else. Yeah, okay. Like I said, we stacked the midfield, probably pretty good up top, and goalkeepers are fine. We get if nobody was it, but yeah, we you'd be doing pretty well to convince anyone that we could wake up on deadline day not having signed a DM, as the kids like to say, and a centre half. I couldn't see anybody. I couldn't see anyone being happy with that at all. No.
Lee, disappointed?
No,
or
I
you'd be
can't
okay?
see anyone. I will say this, that the squad is quite good and fairly complete. It only needs minor adjustments from my viewpoint.
Yeah.
Exactly like what Brian just said, and what the majority of our sensible fans are saying, is that we need a centre back first and foremost, and then a defensive midfielder. Anything after that is an afterthought, really, for me, unless Mo Salah's leaving or who's the other one? Diaz is leaving. I don't see why we'd be buying a forward. We've got enough forwards for now. I'm not saying I wouldn't like another forward. You know, if we brought someone in now, like Nico Williams or something, I'd be like, yay. But I don't think we're going to, because I don't think we need anyone at present.
I like those kind of surprises. Those are good. Those are good.
Are good.
Yeah, those are
fine. It's 5 established attackers. We've also got Jaden Dans and Fabio Carvalho. So for me, we need to, as a centre half, first and foremost, replace Joel Matip.
I'll bring up while you're saying that too. Lee, by the way,
I wanted an experienced guy to replace Matip, but you know, not a ridiculously experienced guy who's like 33 or something. Like, I just mean 26-year-old, like I said before, because that's about the key sort of age when a centre half like comes into their own, isn't it? Around that time of their career, 26. Like, I mean, some do it before that, but it's rare. It's usually around 26. Centre halves come into the best form and their peak fitness, and they're at their optimum, like as an athlete, aren't they? Around that age, centre halves. Yeah.
Right. No, I was going to say, this is what I'm going to do for all of us too, in the chat and for the panel too. I have here, this is off of, you know, this is officially who the team, because this is LFC's website, who the team sees as like senior members, obviously. It's kind of interesting because I thought Yaros was going to be the goalkeeper on record as being our third goalkeeper, but on the actual website here, they have it as Marcelo, which is kind of interesting. You know, I don't know if anyone has any insight in the chat about that or what's going on with that, but
that's interesting. Like, that's quite interesting. That,
you know, because this is obviously like, you know, you can't get more official than when you.
This is the official senior squad. Like, yeah, this isn't someone putting a list together. Right? This is the official senior squad. Yeah.
Right.
So obviously, I mean, if Marco was to go out, then Yaros, obviously, but
right.
It seems that at the moment he is he's that guy. Now I know he did well. I think someone in the chat will remind me. He, I believe, did well last season on loan, or did he do terribly? I don't know. I remember one of our goalkeepers had a drama.
I thought he wasn't that good on loan.
Yeah, one of our goalkeepers had a drama season on loan in Ireland at Shamrock Rovers. I think it might have been him, where it all went like really badly wrong. I think that was him. I don't know. But yeah, like you say, he wouldn't be. He's on the official list, and that's not a typo or anything. They don't.
No, that's why, because this has been updated, obviously, because Adrian is no longer the name that you would, or the face and name. That
bye, Adrian.
Yeah, and then when it comes to, and I'll do this as we say, because like I'll ask this too as I'm showing it as well. In your mind, try to come up with what is the ideal number of players for goalkeeper, defenders, midfield, and for obviously forwards. I'd love to see what number you guys come up with. Like, asking, do you want 6 forwards, or do you want, you know, obviously, like for instance, we have 3 goalkeepers. That's the ideal. That's pretty much the given ideal number for goalkeepers. But like, or how many defenders do you want to see, or how many midfielders do you want to see? How many, like, as in with that balance, because every team has a different balance when it comes to that number. So I definitely come up with that number if you can in the chat, and think about that number on the panel as I showed the list here. But so this is our defenders. We obviously have Joe, Virgil, Ibu, Stimikas, Andy. Reese Williams is still listed. So is Nat Phillips. Those are 2 names that could be, you know, basically about to be out the door. But I know that I have seen Nat Phillips in the facilities at the, you know, the behind the scenes training stuff. I've seen him in the videos and in the likes.
We're still under contract. They'll all be there.
Still under contract. Exactly. You'll notice here Trent, but you also notice, what I was going to say, what you'll notice here, Sepp is listed on this list as well. The player that's returned from loan.
Number 72. Wow.
Number 72, the covenant number 72.
Yeah, we need to get them numbers down. We need to get Kwanzaa's number down at least.
I know.
And Connors, those are stupid. Yeah, get them closer to reality, like a
number
14
84 is a
or
crazy number. And number
yeah,
84
like
is,
yeah, 80. Yeah, who has 84 player? I mean,
yeah.
yeah,
But again, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 defenders on the books.
and that's
right
not
there.
even including your man. What's his name? Is it no Ramsey? Ramsey isn't in that.
Well, okay, so
Ramsey's
Ramsey's on loan. I'll show you Ramsey. He's down there. He is
Is he
listed.
out on loan already again this
Yeah,
year? Is he?
yeah, he's already. That's been actually announced. He has been put on loan,
Oh,
and
okay.
he's with this. He's going to be with this new team. So this is midfielders. We have
Where did he go? Do you know where he? Sorry, do you know where he went?
Oh, I'll show. It'll show. It'll show it. I'll get to it. Give me
Back
1
to
second.
Scotland, probably. Was it probably back to Scotland? Let's say. Is it?
Possibly. I'll check for you when it comes up. I'll check for you. But we have.
Oh, he's at Wigan. He's at Wigan.
Wigan.
He's at Wigan.
Yeah.
Right.
Good call,
Yep.
Bernie. Thanks,
Bernie.
But we have Tortoru. We have obviously Dom. We have McAllister. We have Curtis Jones. We have Harvey Elliott. We have Ryan. We have Stefan. Okay, so that would be 6 midfielders.
Yeah.
And then as far as forwards, we have Diaz. We have Lucho, Darwin, Mohammed or Mo, Cody, Diego, Carvalho, who could be a midfielder technically too, but he's listed as a forward, and Ben Dover.
Call him a forward.
Call him forward.
Okay. That's fair enough. I think.
Fair enough. Because I mean, he is a 10, but I mean, we don't necessarily play with 10.
Yeah.
That's probably why he's up in the forward position. So technically, we have 7 forwards.
Yeah, one too many.
And then we have, and here is Here's obviously the listing of Calvin on loan. So again, obviously all those players aren't going to be on a 25-man list. You know, some of them are going to have to go and see their exit because that is a 27-person list right there. Most notably, probably the 2 names that are most cognitive of being players that possibly would go would be Phillips, most likely. We have 11 defenders. 11 defenders. 6 midfielders, 7 forwards. What number are you guys wanting to see? Like, what do you think?
Well,
what number?
I get you. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, I'd have 2 for 2, right? 2 for 1, right? You'd always want to have 2 in an ideal world, a perfect world. Just say you're playing 4-4-2. You'd have 2 world-class goalkeepers, 2 world-class left backs, 2 world-class right backs, 4 world-class centre halves, 4 world-class centre mids,
coverage in every position.
2 right wingers, 2 left wingers, and 4 strikers. So yeah, you'd want 1. That's what every manager wants: 2 players for every position. Right. You usually, at the best teams, you usually get around 90% of the way to that, if you're lucky. You know, but yeah, if you're playing a 4-3-3, I'd want 4 centre halves, 2 right backs, 2 left backs, 6 central midfielders, 2 strikers, and 4 wide midfielders. So basically 2 on everything, and we're not far off that by those numbers. We probably a few too many centre halves that we don't want. Reece Williams, Nat Phillips, and so numbers wise, I think we have that. That's what I like. All managers say, "Oh, look, what would you love in a perfect world? Oh, 2 players for every position, 2 players that are both that good that it wouldn't matter who was playing." But so yeah, I think just 4 centre halves of the right quality, and kind of 6 midfielders probably.
Since we play a 4-3-3.
If we're doing just to make it that way.
How about for you, Lee?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I like the fact that when I look at Man City's squad, that Ake and Vardiol can both play left back. You know, I'd like us to have someone like maybe a Nasio, who's a good centre half, left-sided, but
Or
can play
like a
left.
Gomez, basically.
Yeah,
A
because
Gomez,
then
really.
you can dump someone like Simicast and just count like one of them as your second, as your second choice left. If you ever need him, which we've hardly ever needed Simicast because Robbo's always fit. You know what I mean? So you know where I'm coming from with that, to have a centre half, a left-sided centre half, like City have got two that can also play left back, and then you can cut down your squad further and maybe add another attacker or something. You know what I mean? Yeah, you do need a lot of midfielders. Like, that's one position where you need a lot of midfielders, isn't it? You've got to have like at least 8, haven't you? Even if you're playing a 4-3-3, you need 8 to pick from. You can't just have 6. You need like at least 8, like really first choice, decent midfielders to pick from, I would say. Yeah, and you need your 2 keepers and your backup third. As for strikers, yeah, I think you can have slightly less strikers, and then you've got your young players as well, haven't you? Who can fill in when you need it, like in cup games or games that you'll win against the bottom side in the division or something like.
Right.
But
that's the question. That's the question.
Yeah, I would say somewhere around 25 is the best number or something, so it's not too
But I
big.
mean, like, what would you? So would you want to be? So with those numbers, for instance, like Brian just said, obviously there's an extra, being that we have a third goalkeeper is a different number. That's always going to be an odd number. So it's three is normally what you're going to carry as that number for goalkeeper. But for defenders, we play with a back 4. So like as Brian was just saying, 8 will be ideal. Obviously, we play with 3 midfielders, so 6 would be ideal. That's basically coverage for every position. And then for the front line, we play with 3 again. 6 would be ideal. In those positions right now, we are a little bit midfield heavy. Okay, in that we have 11 players on the books, technically, as I just showed from that list, us being players available for the senior team selection. Or excuse me, late. I meant for the not midfield. I meant for defenders. Excuse me. And then for our forward line, we have with Fab coming back, we now have 7 players as opposed to 6 being the optional number of that players that we would have. So if you add up those numbers, though, that's 15. That's 23. So you would have basically a +2.
It's your 23-man squad right there. You've got to move players out. I think is that the point?
But depending, we can have a 20. Only reason why I'm bringing up 25, Brian, I'll let you finish your thought.
Sorry,
only reason why I'm bringing up 25 is let's saying we have enough homegrown players on our roster to be able to have 25 players.
Yeah.
That's why I'm bringing.
No, I'm just wondering, is your kind of overall point that 26? Thanks, Jimmy. That we don't have route, that like if fans are expecting signings, that we're actually going to have to move people out. First, it's not like there's a massive hole in this squad, even though we have lost. Yeah, with Thiago and Matip. Okay, they didn't play last year, so they weren't kind of, they're not huge, but
those roles have been
people
filled,
have left. Yeah, they've been filled internally already. That's the point I'm making. Yeah.
Yes.
So we to bring in a whoever it might be. The only place I don't see is kind of going, who are we going to get rid of, or who is in the 2 positions that we talked about. Like if we buy a number 8 or a right back or a left back or a left winger or a forward tomorrow, it's going to be like, right, well, whose position is he taking? Because we have 2 left backs, we have 2 right backs, we have wingers, we have 8s, we have strikers. Like it would only be if someone came in at DM, they'd be like, oh well, obviously he's going to play DM. He's the DM.
Right.
So if you were to bring in,
we do have that. Bajcetic is.
I know they're there, but you could, but I mean, if you he's a 25-year-old, he costs 50 million. Okay, well he's the dude.
Right.
He's the dude, obviously. Yeah. If we bought Mascherano tomorrow, or if we bought, Rodri, it'd be all right. Okay, that's our dude. That's our man then. But like, if we bought a left back, it's like, well, what's happening with Robbo and Simicast? You know, if we
which
brought
is
in
why it's going to be interesting. We're in the talks. I know, and this is again, I'll circle back to what, and then I'll bring Lee into the conversation again too. I'll circle back to what Marion said, for instance. She says she's like, she's just waiting to see what happens. You know, she's not trying to be gaslit by the club, in her words. You know, like as in, you know, Bernie mentioned something similar, or you know, Jimmy as well. Basically putting it out there that, you know, until you see the names, you know, and them holding up the kit, yeah, you're not going to get, you know, all like, you know, hemmed up in the transfer talk of what is what's being circulated. But it also means, again, that we have to make room for these players and do the proper business with getting these players to the clubs and getting the proper prices. And I get people are like, I get the, you know, a couple million here, a couple million there. Those numbers do add up. I know that like a lot of people act as if the millions that they're trying to make on some of these players is just, you know, pocket change, but it's not. Like, as if those numbers do add up to something. And, you know, I see so often clubs evaluate their players, like whether it's Kelleher. I get that. Kelleher wants to move on to another club, you know, to get first team playing, as that, at least that's being reported, for instance, right? But yet that would mean that he's a first team goalkeeper, not a, you know, it's not like we're selling, you know, a backup to be someone else's backup. Okay. We're selling you a first team goalkeeper. So like, you would expect it to be on the lines of similar to what you saw Arsenal have to do with when they went for their goalkeeper or something along those lines. You know, you have to pay for them, you know, and I don't think that we should be giving out discounts or anything like that for our players, certainly, much less. I don't want to see us give discounts just to try to get them out the door. You know, I want them to go and get what they are should markedly be given for their services. And I think that like we're going to have a situation where it's going to be an interesting situation, because I know we have this tango to go through, but we have quite a few names. The reason why I brought up the question, I wanted to make sure that people understood where the context was that I was trying to get at. I want to see us get signatures. I would love for us to get some signings.
Well, we're in the
but it also
game
means
for
we're
it,
going to have to move on some of these players. And it also means that I don't want to move on some of these players if it means taking a cut rate in their price. Because I know I've heard people, and I'm going to let Lee comment on this. I've heard some people, especially some content creators, speak on the fact that we apparently as Reds have a heightened view of the value of our players. We have a heightened opinion that is not shared by the outside world, outside of our Reds community here. Okay. And I'm certain that every team has some aspect of that. But is that not something that you should have with our players? Because otherwise we're not going to get market value for these players. We're going to see it as a thrift store in essence, you know, when it comes to players. Do you have a take on that, Lee?
Yeah, I can't bear it when we get underpaid for players. It's as if it's my money, you know what I mean? I really do, you know, look at it. Well, you know, I know it's not my money, but I feel it. I feel it that way when we don't get market value for decent players, like, and they drift out the door for a low fee. It really grinds my gears, like, and boils me piss for me when that happens. Because, you know, we rarely get anyone cheap, do we? Like at a bargain price or a price that we thought, oh, that's lower than what we expected. You know, that just doesn't happen to us very often. So I don't want to see it happening the other way round, you know, where someone like Kelleher walked out the door for 15 million. I mean, that's not enough, mate. 15 million for Queven. Not the way he's developed, and he's played in cup finals. You know, how many he played in now? About 3. As for like people like Nat Phillips, I'll be less inclined to have a fit if we sold him on the cheap, you know what I mean, for like 5 million or something, because at least we'd be getting it. And starting to look like we'll never get anything for him, like. But it all adds up, doesn't it? Like all the, even if we're not reinvesting it into the squad because it's only a small amount, it all adds up, doesn't it? Like to the running of the club. So you don't want to be shortchanged when you sell players. Who else has been linked with a move away from us?
This is just quickly on that, Lee. Did we not? Oh, and JK, please don't take this. I did notice you coming in chat. Hi, JK. This isn't me. I'm just saying the Edwards thing. I know JK's not a fan.
Yeah, I know.
I was just thinking. I was sending a text to somebody, so I just looked up. We were. I don't know. Look, a lot of our fans used to really kind of cheerlead and be all about Michael Edwards being almost like the fifth member of the Beatles, if I may go down the Liverpool road. In terms of we've got amazing players. We've got Salah, we've got Virgil, we've got Bobby, we've got an unbelievable manager, Jurgen Klopp, one of the best in the world. But you know what else we've got, lads? We've also got this guy called Michael Edwards. He can get you 30 million quid from Bournemouth for Solanke and Jordan Ibe. The guy's a miracle worker. The guy's the best. They all loved sporting directors back then. This guy is a genius. Michael Edwards, lads. He got us all this money. Benteke, he got us 20 million for. He got us 100. Making out like this guy's a genius. Not only do we have the best in the business on the pitch, we've got the best in the business off the pitch. And everyone was singing his praises back then. Now I know things change, and I know people year out change and things change. But that's something we've stopped being. Like, I know you're worried about being a trust. This is not something. Nobody has come to Liverpool in a very, very long time and taken a player off our hands where we're turning around going, wait, what? 8 million, 10 million, what? Man United would have gotten 20 million for him. That doesn't happen to us anymore. I think we're golden on that front. We may overvalue our players as fans. They say, oh, well, I wouldn't take less than 50 million. I'm very, very cutthroat when it comes to what I would sell a player for. I am really realistic when what I would sell a footballer for. Some people want 50 million for some guy, and I'm looking at it going, I reckon I'd move him for 27. You know what I mean? I'm often that far removed from, because that's in today. You can put big numbers on people, but what you have to do is you have to then go, right, put yourself in the shoes of the buying club, and imagine you're a fan of that buying club, and you go, oh, cool. Oh, we're Leicester, and I'm really cool with us giving Liverpool 40 million for Curtis Jones. Fuck off. No, if I'm a Leicester fan, no, sorry. Like, we don't. Do you know what I mean? But us Liverpool, if Leicester want Jones, they can give us 50 million for him. Come on. That's not a Leicester or a Leeds. If they're the player that are in for your guy, they're not going to give you that kind of money. So you got to mix it all together and go, okay, what are we going to end up with here? So, but you're right. If we want to bring guys in, number one, wages off the books. We've done some of that, big ones. Matip and Thiago, big money off the books, and we brought nobody in. Okay, can't argue with that. So that money is still sitting there, whatever you want to call it. There's room in the wage budget, obviously. So we're not going to tip ourselves over the balance. We probably come in under what we were paying last year by bringing in a couple of guys on 120 grand a week. That's basically just Thiago's wages. So I'm not worried there. So I think there should be maneuver, but it's just, it's space. It's like, I think a Simicast or a Jones, these kind of guys, these are the kind of, you can see them moving, you can see, and then you can do something. But it's a crowded house at the moment.
Yeah, that's why I think I get what people's trepidation. Look, I don't think that I don't want to be the guy like, that thinks that the transfer window is a competition in itself. There's not like, as in like, you know, so many times people are like, oh, we're the biggest winners in the transfer market because we made all these transfers. We got all these players. And I'm like, well, chances are, if that's the case, it means your team was not that good to begin with. You know,
trophy is lovely, by the way.
Yeah,
The trophy
you
for
know,
winning the transfer window is a real love. It's very nice, very nice.
right. There is no award that goes to, you know, who spent the most in the transfer market. But like, but it isn't something where I'm not trying to, you know, soften the blows or like, you know, or make it where it's
No,
a
but
case.
you said it. You said it just 2 seconds ago back there. If you need to make 8 signings, there's something wrong with your team.
Yeah.
If you only
Yeah.
need to make 1 or 2, 1 or 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2,
And that's
every
where
year,
where you just said it yourself. And I saw in the chat too. I don't know if there's like positions or there's key priority positions that you would like to see us upgrade in, but like center back and DM are pretty much the consorted consensus of the position that I often hear as being the position of concern or interest in upgrading in, you know. And again, you know, I don't think any of us had any, you know, if you really look at this, great, we want to get a center back, but that means technically that would mean that we're going to either bring in a center back that is so exceptional that he's a starter. Obviously, we'd want that, obviously, but that also means that you're now telling Kanate and Kwanzaa that you are now going to be not second and third, you might be third and fourth choice when it comes to center backs. You know,
I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that, and I think that's
okay.
good in the squad.
I think Kwanzaa will be too. Yeah.
Giroud's only 1 season into his Liverpool career, and
he's not that big-headed.
As a pro footballer, he's not going to say, "How dare you not play me?" And if he did, I'd give him away for free. If he did say that, how come I'm not playing at his age? You know what I mean? I'd be like, "You're out. We don't even want to pay. Just piss off." Do you know what I mean? If he came across like that, and Ibu, well, it's his fitness.
He's the one that's going to have to suck onions. Or
he's the one that's going to have to shut up a bit, like, because mate, you just never fit, like, and we need footballers have to be fit to play. You know, good to us sat on a couch. You're like, we can do that. We need you to like stand up and run around. We can sit on the couch, like.
Yeah.
No, I'm bang on. Like Kwanzaa is the one who's like
something in the chat. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's just Kwanzaa is absolutely. He's ahead of schedule, and he knows he is. He's like, dude, I'm cool. He's like, hey, don't look at me. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be here. Right. You know, like so. But Kwanzaa is the one. He has the minerals, but Kanadi is the one that's going to have to be sat down. Definitely. If we were to bring that guy in, Jarrell would be just like, hey, I'm living the actual dream. Even being in the. Yeah, right. I'm a 21-year-old. I'm happy to be here. Next 10 years, you know, in 2-3 years, I'll be the guy. But don't worry, I'm not going to kick up a stink on, you know, why aren't I playing every week? Oh, which
is technically from
potential, potentially
what Euro would have been. Yeah. Euro would have been that person being like
again, and he's the other thing about that, isn't he? We mentioned earlier on with the whole Euro thing. We have a Euro.
Yeah.
As far as I know, we have an 18-year-old. World-class potential centre half that we didn't need to go out and do what Man United did just to get another one in the door. But yeah, I think it will be Ebo will be the one who, if we say went and put down 50 on a centre half, it will be Ebo that will be going, oh, well, I've just lost my spot then. Or, well, I'm fine because it ain't going to be Verge. Kwanzaa's like, hey, I'm the third choice guy. I'm the kid. I'm the future, you know. Ibu is okay. That's your spot, Ibu. 100%. That's Ibu.
Yeah,
you and him, man. You are fighting him because that's fine. I'm fine with that. I am fine with her. I would love nothing more than us to have a second choice centre half pairing of Ibu and Kwanzaa.
Yeah. I'm sure. I mean, like, look. Ideally, I would like to see us be able to, you know, incorporate a pairing that is able to play together and be able to, like, you know, and have like. That's why I wanted to see. I would, if we got Euro, I would have been cool with it as long as he was cool with understanding his role is going to be third, if not fourth choice, depending on where you rate Kwanzaa. And that third and fourth choice doesn't mean you're not going to see playing time. It means that when it comes to cup games, you two are going to be the pairing that we utilize in those cup games. So you can establish a relationship and have a relationship that grows and continues to grow to the point where, if necessary, you could be the starting center back pairing for our club. That's just how I would have approached it, at least. But again, you're right about that too. I mean, the same question, and I'll ask Lee this too, his ideas. And again, chat, please do put your comments in. If we look at it that way with the defenders, again, it could be seen the same way with our midfield. With our midfield, we have seen Thiago leave. I get that. But that is also contingent upon the fact that Bajcetic was a player that we've gotten a glimpse of. We see this really great potential there, but unfortunately he went through the injuries and went through the growing spurts and the likes. And now we finally have this player back in a form and shape, hopefully, that he can maintain and grow with this team and be a formidable option on the bench. Is that not the case again? Like, do you bring in another player? Let's say you bring in
bridge the gap.
A Danny Olmo, or let's say you bring in a I don't know, and that's not even a direct relation to his role. Maybe you bring in Ederson or something like that.
Yeah, I bridge the gap.
Right. Quickly,
just between Endo and Bajcetic, age-wise, I'd bridge that gap. Someone just right in the middle.
Yeah, no, well, that's the point of why what I'm trying to get at is that do we already have that bridge player in Endo, and we don't need another bridge player possibly? Or is that something that you do want to see us bring in? Lee, is that like that's dealing with our midfield? Can you see what I'm saying? Or at least a question of what I'm trying to get at?
For a large part of last season, I was happy with Endo. Once he settled in, got over that initial getting to grips phase, I was quite happy with him. With Bajcetic, he's got a lot of potential in that position, hasn't he? So we've got two players there. As long as Bajcetic stays fit next season, more often than not, like he doesn't spend ages and ages out of the time. And obviously McAllister can play there, but I didn't like McAllister playing there. I didn't think it looked natural. And to be honest, he's too slow for that position. He just doesn't get across the ground quickly enough to shut players down. I mean, like, he's good. He's a good tackler, McAllister and all that, and he can win the ball fairly well, but he just isn't very fast across the ground. And I don't think his brain works in that way football-wise, where to be a number 6, like, he's got too much else to his game. Like, as far as I'm concerned, we do need another player in that position. I'd just like to see it. But it's not essential. Again, it's not essential. If you'd ask me of the two, or like, if you ask me the two defensive midfield and centre-back, I'd say centre-back all day. And if you told me we could only have one player, and the one player, and I'd be happy with Endo and Bajcetic in that position as long as we bought a good centre-back. I could deal with buying only one player if it was a good centre-back, with a half.
Want to be bloody good.
Whatever.
Are you with Honesty is saying? I'm going to put some of these things. So let me interrupt Alexander's quote or question, or not question, but a statement. He says the squad is big. We have two non-homegrown spots left. He's more interested with preseason. And I can understand why he would say that. I'm more interested as well with preseason, a little bit more so to see what team in Slot's mind he has as being the team he wants to do, much less just seeing how the formations and the works of the work out for us. And honestly saying for him, Endo is a bench player and we can't put all the pressure on Stefan. So he'd rather get a 25-year-old DM and him and Stefan can rotate. Okay.
Exactly.
Judge is saying He'd like a bit more pace in the midfield. He's a Omo fan too. He says Danny Olmo would be ideal. Again,
I I disagree with. I honestly said what I would have said. But I just want that Goldilocks. Right now, I think Endo at the back end of his career, not future, but I said it's a little bit too young and way too inexperienced now because he missed all of last year. So again, you're asking him to turn up and all of a sudden be whatever. So yeah, exactly what honestly said. That kind of Goldilocks age. But I said it's a little bit too young and inexperienced. Endo, not the future. So someone like that at 25, 26, absolutely spot on, comes in and it's like I said, oh, he's the guy now. And Endo is his backup, rotating with Bajcetic, lots of games in the cups, lots of minutes.
mhm.
This one, that's what I like. And the same at centre half. Again, I don't know what would you call them, but just kind of, yeah, plug and play. These guys where there isn't going to be people wondering if they're going to play or where they're going to play. It's just like he's obviously going to play and he plays there.
Mhm.
He's a DM, he's a centre half, he's replaced Ebu, he's our new DM starting. No need to debate it. It's real straightforward, simple down the line business, and they're both real proper age with say 6 years left in them at the top. And yeah, what we like, that age range, a little bit left to still give, but already really good quality. So, and then like he said, anything after that would be probably dependent on someone leaving, a Diaz leaving or a Salah leaving or whoever leaving.
Right.
Then we do something up top. But can we just? I think I trust Edwards to do that. Really, because it seems too obvious not to address those two areas.
Mhm.
But yeah, but I suppose as the clock ticks by, people can get more kind of frustrated. I suppose, can't they?
Yeah, it can be extremely frustrating. And that's why, like, I can understand the frustrations of some of the people in the chat. I can understand, some of the things that we all think of as being necessary additions for the club that we'd like to see or would like to, deal with. But again, moving on to the forwards,
How
I
you
know
in?
that the forwards again. Look, if what honesty says happens, like I just told him in the chat, I would be over the moon about. Yeah, everyone knows that I've been very big on Kubo, being a part of the club,
Oh,
and I rate his skills and his playing style, and I also would love to see a actual right winger, or someone that we could say could be a fill-in, if not a eventual successor to Mo on that right wing. Because obviously all players eventually the time has to come, but like um, but again, it gets to the lines of I've heard people out there, and brace yourself really for this one, but I've heard people out there
oh,
say that Diego we should look to move on from Diego and put him on the market.
there you go. Oh, Jota.
Yes,
Oh, right. Oh, that's an unnecessary
that's an
thing to
unnecessary
do.
thing to do. He's obviously loves his time here, loves playing here. Um, I'm sure, like all players, he would like to be a starter and be a routine starter and the likes. But yeah, there's obviously questions about his availability, but also the fact of where do you play him? Do you start him or do you start him on the left wing? Do you start him as a center forward? If he is started in any of those positions, does he start hands down over the players that we already have in those roles? That's a good question.
I've seen shouts from to start as our number nine or get rid. I've seen those kind of stop kind of wasting him and stop kind of playing him here, there, and everywhere, and not playing him. Just start him as a number nine. They dropped Darwin, put Jota at
Mm-hmm.
the nine, play him every week. I've seen people say that, like, yeah, because with Jota, it's like, is he going to play? Where is he going to play? He doesn't have a nailed down position. I think some people would like to see him get just start every single week in the nine or wherever, but just start him. Give him 10 games in a row.
Yeah.
But I suppose he's someone we all like, someone we know.
Oh, we all
quality.
rate Diego. We all rate Diego.
Yeah, great quality.
But again,
yeah,
it's one of those
I know
cases
he
where
doesn't.
we have 7 players. Obviously, 2 of those players being Fab and being Ben Doak, being those 2 excess, quote unquote, I guess you could call them excess players. Those players on the cusp or on the line, on the fence of whether they actually get to play or don't get to play with the senior squad. Is that something? Is that would you do that, Lee? By the way, would you if a deal came in for Diego, would you make that deal, or do you think of Diego as a bona fide and a bona fide starter for our club?
Yes, given the skill set, and his propensity for scoring important goals. But again, like Ibu, he's got fitness issues, a different type of fitness issues with Jota. Because the injuries always seem to be different with Jota. I can't think of an injury that he hasn't had in recent years.
Right.
It's ankle, it's just bloody hamster. But remember I was saying
I think it was his knee at one point too.
he gets hit really hard, really often, doesn't he, Jota? Defenders are scared of him. And
that's so awful, yeah.
Players are scared of him and like nailing him, and they do nail him. And in a way that puts him out. His season was ended at Brentford, won it by that guy landing on his knee. And there's no fucking way on earth you can tell me he didn't do it on purpose, Christian Norgard. He was, he made sure he fell right on his knee. And, you could see the way Jota, I can see it in my mind's eye now, the way Jota's leg was lying on the floor before Norgard came down on it, mate. That was just simple. It was just really jarred and shattered it. It really jarred his knee, didn't it? Like, you could see that. And it was just bullshit. And I wanted to punch the fuck out of Norgard's face for it, just like I wanted to with Pickford when he's done that to Virgil.
Yeah. Oh no, it's like Partey when he did it to Lucho.
Well, if you look at someone like Jota, to me, Jota is that kind of fatal combination sometimes of being genuinely injury prone. He is someone who is genuinely injury prone, but he's also unlucky. Like, he'll also get injured when he's not injury prone. Like,
or when he's in form or something.
Yeah, when he's in form, someone will then go and break him.
Yeah.
Like, he also has the unlucky bit somehow, and then he also kind of does pick up injuries, clearly. So those 2 things going together, they aren't brilliant. And we've seen it. We've seen how good he is, and then, he's out for 8 weeks. Yeah, okay. So we've seen it all with Jota. Because us Liverpool, like, we saw him go a calendar year without scoring a goal. And not all of that, only 4 months of that was because of injury. And then we've seen him go on runs where he can look like one of the best second strikers in the Premier League. One of the best headers of the ball in the Premier League.
Yeah, even at his height. Right?
Goal scorer.
Yeah.
So we've seen it all with the guy. It's just
because he doesn't have the body of a striker. Let's just be honest.
Exactly, he doesn't have the body of
a. You don't think of him being a center forward. It's very much
not the modern guy.
Right. It's very much
a withdrawn.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's very much similar to Salah. How
great core strength, probably great core strength. Looks weedy, maybe, but a real. But that's what, like Lee is saying, he can go in elbows. He'll probably give you elbows, no doubt. Like, and he'll get kicked. He'll get kicked. So all of that stuff. So, but we paid a huge fee for him. We paid 40 million quid for that guy. And that was a while ago. So we clearly backed him. We clearly thought we were getting this. And when you see what he can do on the pitch, it's sort of, is he this? Is he that? Why is it even a conversation? If he had Salah's level of fitness, which not many people do, but if he had something approaching that, and he played 28, 29 league games a season starting,
Yeah.
He's getting numbers. He's
Yeah.
getting big numbers.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
But like everyone, the best ability is availability. So
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt. And that's
I'm
what we
sorry, like
need. And
Judge
I
said, like Judge
understand.
Red said, he didn't get a minute at the Euros. He didn't get a fucking minute at the Euros.
Right. For other reasons involved in that too, I
Yeah,
guess.
exactly.
Yes.
Oh no, not because of him, but he didn't get a bloody minute. He went off there and he didn't get any run to get into a bit of form or get a few goals, come
Right.
back on a bit of a high buzz. And had a
Right.
great
Right.
tournament, scored a few goals, scored a banger against Holland, or
Right.
scored the winner
The only
against
goal he
France.
did
I
score
know, but
was
like,
on all sides. I think it was an offside goal. But
yeah,
yeah.
oh, I got 5 minutes in a dead rubber game. I had to sit there watch Ronaldo crying and God, can you
Yes.
imagine?
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I don't know.
Front row
I
seat
just.
to the drama show.
I guess why I brought up all these names, or at least we've gone through the defenders, we've gone through the midfielders, we've even gone through loosely based going through the forwards line as well, and that is because I want to see us upgrade. Absolutely, I want us to see us upgrade. But then again, I don't want to see us. I don't want to see us try to make a move just in the tense of to have made a move.
No.
Like as in, I don't want to see us. I know like there's some of the channels I've heard mentioned like, oh well, Endo was a what do they call
Oh,
that kind of buy? It's like
the stopgap or
no, not even a stopgap. They call it a what do they call
panic
it?
buy or
Panic buy.
buy.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. I'm like, and I'm like, I don't know if he was necessarily a panic buy per se. Like as in, was he our third, maybe if not fourth choice, maybe on the list? Absolutely. But it's like a consideration of what
The shop was closing. It was a little bit. The store's closing.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, the shop was definitely on the
you
verge of
didn't. There's something on the shelf. You'll take it, but
right.
I mean, you got you got to grab something, so you will take it, but it ain't what you came in for.
Right.
But
We went in
it's
for
not
100. We went in for £100 million
yeah,
player, and went out and left with with spending 16 and change or something like that.
But it's the thing that, and you came home and everyone's like, yeah, but that's a really good one. Oh yeah, that's there. No, but that's a really good one. Like people in the know are like, yeah, but that's a really good model. That's okay, it's cheap, but that's way better than that expensive one. It's got the same parts.
Which I would think of as being the truth. I think of it as being
I
like
think
that's.
So, yeah.
I think sometimes I do hear a lot of the shade that they drop on Endo, and I'm like, look, Endo is a good. It's a good player for what he's worth, for what we paid for what he offers, and for what we need. He's a solid player. I'm not saying he's the world's best. I'm not saying he's the world's best DM. We didn't pick up Rodri in this transfer or in that past transfer window.
But we didn't come out and say we did either. We came out like Jurgen Klopp couldn't have put it in plainer English. We went for Caicedo. He made it public. We paid the money. It didn't come off. And then he said, hey, look, the clock was ticking. The thing, like we say, the thing we went in for wasn't there. Someone else had gone and bought it. But we needed to bring home to whatever it was we needed. So the club allowed us to kind of go outside of our age range, as it were, and pick up this guy kind of last minute. Yeah, and you can sell it as a panic buy. Of course you can. It's not ideal. It's not, what everybody would have picked, but it is just what you have to do sometimes in football.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what you got to do, and it was either that or I don't know, kind of say, oh, we'd be left with nothing. Nobody. I don't know I really don't know what we were supposed to do. Otherwise. So, but look, some people never be happy. He was a cheap pickup, and it would be easy to move on if we have to. Being cynical about it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Again, you want to put 2 cents on that, Lee? When it comes
to just to echo the same thoughts. Really, the Endo is a cheap buy, so it's not like we're going to lose any money, is it? Like if we move him on and bring someone else in. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those positions, number 6, where there's always a lot of players available because there just are a lot of number 6s, and some of them you might not have heard of even, like, but there's always promising number 6s here, there, and everywhere, isn't there? It's a position that usually you find a lot of players in. You know, if you're looking for one, you're going to have a few choices.
Real quick then, to add to what your thought is, do you think that Rodri has done I wouldn't say disservice, but an unfair, raising of the bar when it comes to what we are searching for in a DM? I know that we had a DM that was arguably one of the greatest, one of the best in the world when we had Fabinho. But some of that performance level dropped off somewhat in his final year here. And then we obviously had a bar that was already set as to what we expected from our DMs. And we were seeing that kind of level, if not production, out of Rodri at Manchester City, who's our rival today. So, we all understand what the DM, how important the DM role is, but there's only one Rodri out there at the moment in this market.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he was like one of a kind, but he's almost one of a kind, Rodri, isn't he? There are other Rodris really out there, like. So when we want to forget that shit, like, and just find someone who can tackle and screen the defense properly. I'm not asked about what they're like as a playmaker or any shit. All I really require from a number 6 is to win the ball and give it to a guy who can pass it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not looking for number 6s that can make killer passes, like, necessarily. I'm just looking for a functional number 6 that is very, very tidy and sweeps up the way Fabinho did. That's all I'm really looking for. But, we could get a Rodri type guy who's also, like, really good playmaker as well. Like, then, yeah, why not? Bring it on. But they're just not.
Why not? Right.
Grow on trees, do they, Rodri's? So I'm not sure that he has rose the bar or changed the game or any shit like in that position. He's just an exceptionally good player that there aren't many of.
Yeah. Okay. I think that sometimes we look at this market of DMs, and I'm scratching my head to say of any other DM that will provide the same capabilities of a Rodri, if not the same capabilities of a Fabinho. And I think if anything, right now, the reason why I was so high on Endo is because he's very close to being able to be comparable to what you said Fabinho did for us, which is just clean up, basically keep it nice and tidy, and clean up when necessary. And we're not looking for you to go up there and score goals for us. We're not looking for you to go up there and create chances for our forwards or our midfielders or other midfielders. We're just looking for you to be a defensive mechanism for us. And if that's the case, that certainly puts us into a different playing field when it comes to names that are being offered. So a lot of the names that are even being mentioned, a lot of, other than Ederson, have been really names that they're not really DMs. Like, is Kimmich a true DM in your mind, Brian, for instance? In that Rodri-esque or is he in that Fabinho style form of a DM when it comes to a Kimmich, for instance? Oh, well, I see Brian's on mute. I'll ask you that question, Lee. Do you think?
Yeah, I think, again, Kimmich is a slightly different player to Rodri and Fabinho, because he did start his career like as a right back, so he's a slightly different proposition. And
he's there at right back now, technically.
Yeah. I do really like Kimmich, and I think he'd be a hit. And he's got one of the things I like about him is just all that experience. And that it's big game experience as well with Kimmich. That's what he is. And he is a big game player. Like, he's used to playing in big games ad infinitum. Every week there's a big game for him virtually, isn't there? So he'd be signing, wouldn't he? If we could have him.
That would be a big name signing. Absolutely be a big name signing. I mean, look, We can get if I heard in this next window, and again, this is why again I'm just trying. I'm not necessarily trying to give them coverage, but I mean like a lot of the. I'm trying to at least bring some easement to my fellow Reds out here, in that with the circumstances of PSR, with the circumstances of because we already saw it in January. If a wake up call to a lot of us in this transfer world of things wasn't January, then I don't know what will be. You know, what could have been. Because I mean, normally January you see a lot of action, you see a lot of teams make a lot of different sales and this and that just to get deals done sometimes before the summer window gets there. And we saw very little movement.
That's when you see a real panic buy in the January. Those guys that go out there trying to stay up or trying to maybe get to Europe, and they go out and those are when you see genuinely clubs panicking. I only ever associate that kind of thing with relegated, threatened teams. Oh, they panic bought a striker, you know, try and get some goals, and he didn't work out. These days they usually try and loan some guy, but back in the day maybe they would like splash like £5 million on some striker like Portsmouth or QPR would, you know, just to try and get a few goals and stay up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they're paying them like 40 grand a week for the next 5 years or something. But
Like,
that's
like
why
I mean, there were some
but
deals that were like the Melo deal could be looked at as being a quote unquote panic deal. Even though he'd end up playing.
Yeah, well, we didn't sign him though. Loan only. So
loan only, right?
Thrown
exactly.
out. Yeah, gets thrown out immediately. Immediately. Loan only.
Or
very, 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 very expensive loan. I think that. I think that actually cost us around 10 million quid, basically. Yeah, but
you could say that. Who was it? Kabak and who was this other center back that we got?
Again, loans.
Yeah.
Coker, all loans. I think our last genuine panic, the last genuine panic buy in our history is Mario Balotelli. That's the last.
I didn't even know what that came out in left field too. I don't even understand why that.
Rogers got hung out to dry.
I was a Balotelli fan, and like I was like, where did that come from? That was just
but remember, Rogers got hung out to dry. He literally
Ben Davies.
sat in the press.
Ben Davies wasn't, and Ben Davies wasn't a loan deal. Ben Davies was a player that we actually did.
He was a backup, hardly kind of panic.
No, he was listed as the hologram for a lot of people because no one ever got to see him play.
Yeah.
But we ended up making money on that deal, all the same. Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying. Brendan sits down and goes, "There's absolutely no way in the world this club will be signing Mario Balotelli. That is not going to happen. I can sit here and guarantee you now we're not signing Mario Balotelli." Like 10 days later, he was in the building. Yeah. Brendan was hung out to dry on that one. I mean, no Brendan fan here, but that was a bad time. Ricky Lambert, Mario Balotelli.
It was not a good time for the Northern Irishmen. It was not a good time.
Nope. For those Northern Irish men.
Yep.
With their Northern Irish ways.
Yep. But it was not a good time for that. Oh, Ricky Lambert. Yeah, that's true. Ricky Lambert. Oh, goodness.
Oh, he was so bad. And Fabio Barini.
Ricky Lambert was so bad.
I mean, Fabio Barini scored like one goal in an entire season.
I know. That's a shame. It goes to testament about the Italian player concept. But that was someone. Barini was someone that I was hoping. I had high hopes for Barini. I did have high hopes.
Yeah, he did. He was at Chelsea. He's at Swansea, Liverpool, Roma. Like he's played. That guy has played for big clubs. Like not scored. And Sunderland. He also played for Sunderland. But and not scored goals. I think he got like maybe 10 on loan at Sunderland or something like that. And I think that's like his best ever career. Yet he constantly gets sold between big clubs. It's bizarre. It's weird. It's really weird.
Strange one.
Yeah.
Freaking Roma.
was shit. Yeah, Ricky Lambert was bloody awful.
Oh, Ricky Lambert can fuck right. I don't care if he's a Liverpool fan. Ricky, if you were such a Liverpool fan, you should have pulled the plug on that deal yourself. You should have been the one doing it. No. That's honestly, I don't know what even watching.
Yeah, that was
I'm
another
not
name
your
too,
guy.
Honestly,
I'm not your guy.
Aquilani was another name that we got sold a big bill on how great of a player he was going to be for us. He did not end up being the case one little bit. Absolutely one little bit. But again, why I'm bringing all this stuff up is because, like, you know, I think that we're going to make. Do I think we're going to make some signings? Yes, I think we are. I was trying to allude to the fact that Hughes put us under. We all have to get our minds thinking of, yes, there's going to be other signings that get made. There's going to be other signings that certainly might pop out of nowhere and be made. But you got to look at what teams are actually making those big name or big signatures. Obviously, United is just made one. Villa is also doing work as well, but they're in different situations with their teams. They're at different stages with their clubs. They're not in the same stage as us. Some might push back and say, well, you know, Villa is in a place where they are fighting for top four. They're fighting for possibly even for the league. They're going to be in Champions League, you know, in the whole nine and blah, 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 blah. But they're also a team that's having to work out their books to fall under the you know, the restraints or the confines of PSR rules, because they had issues with that from before. It's the reason why they're selling some of their better players, if not some of their best players on their team. You know, they also are a club that, you know, are going through different ways to maneuver that, so it's sustainable for their club. United, as Brian spoke of earlier, are just a club that, let's be honest, they're a club that are in the woods. They certainly have been blessed to have won the FA Cup, to have won the Caribou Cup the year before that, you know, but it kind of papered over the cracks the fact that they were a bloated team that have some incredibly high wage players playing not at the production level of what their wages were dictating. And United's a whole different story when it comes to the signings that they get, the players that they put on their books. It's a whole different story, a place and spot where I don't ever want to see our club become, because it ends up being, you end up seeing your Sanchos making 300,000, you know, pounds a week or something like that. And you're like, you know, what is that? That is something you don't want to have be a part of your club. So,
but this is 12 man. This is they're just, if you look at it really, they're just doing the central defender version of Hoyland. Hoyland had 18 career goals. 18 in his whole career, over 2 seasons at Fiorentina or at Atlanta. Yeah, somewhere where Atlanta. So it was like I was saying earlier, they can't attract the ready-made, proven guys. So everyone's like, oh, in 5 years' time, Hoyland is going to be next Haaland. Well, they can't buy Haaland because Haaland won't go to United. So they have to buy the guy who's going to be Haaland and hope he becomes him. And then go and pay all that. What did they pay? Like 70, 80 million for Hoyland? Let's be generous, say 65. They're doing the same thing with Euro. Euro might turn out to be the next Rio Ferdinand. But what United used to do was go and buy Rio Ferdinand, not potentially the next Rio Ferdinand. Like we were potentially trying to buy, when we bought Phil Babb, when we bought whoever, trying like Sebastian Coates. Oh, in 5 years' time, he's going to be the best South American centre half. Well, guess what? He didn't turn out to be that. You know, other clubs, Real Madrid, Barca, they were just going out and buying the guy who is that right now. You know, not a guarantee. But that's what United are trying to do now.
YouTube name just said it itself. Like, as in, you're Manchester United, and you have an 18-year-old on 150,000 pounds a week.
I mean, come on.
How do you ever rein that wage bill back in? Because we see the numbers Barcelona, we see the numbers Real Madrid, we see the numbers Bayern Munich, for instance, exceedingly high numbers. Real Madrid, Barcelona, two of the highest earning clubs in the world. I get that. They can somewhat manage it. Barcelona, not so much as well as Real Madrid have done it in the past. But even for Bayern Munich, they have a stranglehold on the Bundesliga when it comes to the finances, and revenues. So they can somewhat dictate and have a delict on 280 or 300,000, whatever he's on euros, a week, sitting the bench. You know what I mean? Like they can do those kinds of things. But Premier League
But
teams,
just quickly, also, if you look just also quickly on that, if you look at the Madrids and the Barcelonas and the Bayerns, they'll have guys on that, but they'll actually have guys on like 11 grand a week and like 15 grand a week and stuff in their squad. There'll be like 3 or 4 of these like Nunez's and Sanchez's that are on like 8 grand a week and stuff. It's like, wow, okay. Like, so you can imagine, like, some of these guys are actually sitting beside guys that are earning 20 times what they are.
Yeah.
And it's almost like this is the price of entry.
Trust me,
here.
they know.
Yeah.
They know.
Yeah, they're like, cool, okay, but that's like, we're at Madrid. Like, that's why I think it probably, at Man United, they're probably all going, oh, is there any wage jealousy? It's probably like, this place is a fucking madhouse, lads. There's no wage jealousy here. Like, you go to Liverpool and it's like, hang on, what's he done to deserve that? Everything is on a meritocracy. You don't just walk in here on big money. That would upset people at a properly run club like Liverpool. Whereas at Man United, it's like, oh, did you hear he's on 300 grand a week? It's like, yeah, sure, I got a free Porsche last week just for, it's
Chelsea,
mad here. It's mad
if you're at
here.
Chelsea, different story. If you're at Manchester United, different story. We get those settings that those clubs work on.
It's not going to upset their
confines of what they work on.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not going to upset their, like, they're a club but they've always gone out and done stupid celebrity type things like that. Like, everyone's used to being on mad money. So it's like, yeah, go get it, man. Go get it. Whereas at Liverpool, Virgil van Dijk is going to be looking at you going, you're not walking in here on twice what Andy's on. You're not walking in here on twice what he's on. You have to earn it.
You got to earn
so
it.
it would crack our foundations like that. Yeah. But at these big stupid clubs, they don't even bat an eyelid. Who cares? They've all got Bentleys and fucking houses on the moon. They've all got more money than God, like these guys. So let them at it. Like, it's not for us. It's for them. It's not for us. We spoke about this last week, didn't we? We're not the flash. The big time charities going to just throwing money. Oh, we'll spend more than everybody. That's
no. That was my next question. I was going to ask Lee, like, is that the what Brian just said? I think definitely calculates what the structure or how the Premier League works in the sense of what the clubs and the likes, but it also definitely defines what Liverpool is about as well. Like, I hear this thing all the time when I know we're Liverpool Football Club. We are Liverpool Football Club, and I get that. That's pride. That's the belief in your club. That's the acceptance that we are a exceptional historic club. But we also have to keep in mind that we're not Manchester United. We're not Chelsea. And one of the reasons why we do have such a more, in my opinion, more historic, history, or a more glorified history, is because we haven't gone the same routes as a Chelsea, as what Manchester United is in right now, just throw money at it, just continue to throw money at it. That's a difference. Is that how you look at it too, or do you look at it differently?
You know what Brian said about like Rio Ferdinand? United probably had their eye on him at West Ham, but they thought, we'll let him go to Leeds, we'll let him develop there. And that's exactly what they did. He had a few seasons at Leeds, and then they snapped him up for 30 million. which was a fucking fortune for a defender then, 30 million, what they paid for Rio.
Broke the transfer record.
City, wasn't it?
He broke. He's the only player. He's broken the transfer record in England as a defender twice. He's the only player ever to have done it.
That's right. He was 18 million for Leeds.
Leeds broke the transfer record when they
United
bought him from West Ham.
30.
And then United broke, and he was only 23. He'd already broken the transfer record twice.
Yeah, there was Phil Babb, who at 3.6 million.
3.6, yeah.
That was an absolute fortune.
From Coventry. That was the record for that at the time, was the transfer record for a defender in England.
I can remember sort of my mindset at the time, because like I was made up that we spent big, because we really did. We hadn't done for a while, and I was just overjoyed that we spent
2.5 million on Mark Wright, maybe before that, 2.6 on Scales. That was it, kind of thing. Wright and Scales, remember those two guys?
Yeah.
They weren't. We were spending big money. That was big money for centre halves back then. That was like, say, spent like 2.5 million back then for Scales and 2.6 for Wright, the other way around. That's about 50 million today on two centre halves, and the 3.6 on Babb. That would be probably the equivalent of spending 70 million on a centre half. It'd be like, it's Van Dijk base. It's Van Dijk money. That was. And Babb was nowhere near he was nowhere near it. He was just okay. He was good. I'm an Ireland fan. He played for.
He was
okay.
Decent.
He wasn't the world's most expensive defender. No way. Or England's, no way. We got done. We got done big time. And that's what I see United doing. This is when I see these clubs now. When I see them doing things like that, I look back to when we were in the doldrums, but we had money. Like, we're never poor. We could spend, just as that's illustrated. But we used to spend it on the wrong players all the time. We constantly spent money on the wrong bloody players. Good money. Right. And that's what I can see United doing now. Our transfer business has become so laser focused in the last 10 years that I don't recognize it. Like, the 90s was chaos. Complete chaos in who we were buying and selling. Totally. Now it's like, name the last, forget injuries, forget any, name the last time we spent proper money on a guy who came in and it was like, oh my God, that guy's useless. He's useless. There isn't one. In living memory, recent memory, there isn't one.
Recent memory.
Like I'm saying, you're going back to the Charlie Adams of this world. The Poulsons, the Roy Hodgson eras. You're going back.
And it even goes even deeper to the point where, when's the last time? Again, I've asked this question, and I asked this question on other streams. I've asked this to other commentators or content creators. I've asked this to other people in the chat. I just asked it in sense of, hey, maybe you can enlighten me. But again, when's the last time we went out and bought a certified, not even glorified, a certified world-class talent player and brought him in to this? Liverpool.
I think I can.
I know Thiago we put out there.
Yeah,
I know we've asked this question before too on the chats, but I always say to myself, like, as in, would I have been over the moon if we got Mbappe? I'd be like high-fiving. I'd be like, high-fiving his mom and for making the deal happen, who's his agent, you know what I mean? And just like, and I would be like, great, cool, let's do this, great name, great person to add to it. But I mean, like, I honestly say, like, I'm saying a concerted world-class talent. BVD became a world-class talent, in my personal opinion, when he joined Liverpool.
Well, we did this. Well, if he became,
I know
he didn't become one when he
before,
walked in the door. If he was world class just after he walked in the door, then he was world class when he walked in the door. If after a year, when we did this, I said VVD.
The crown. That
yeah,
crown.
no. When I said this, I said VVD, but I was willing to concede the fact that he had only ever played for Celtic and Southampton. So I wasn't going to die on that hill, but I would have said he was genuine certified world class coming in. Anybody in
I know people might say Ali next.
Ali.
I'm sure someone's going to say Ali next.
Again,
like
I said Ali next as well, but again, I conceded he hadn't really gone mega. But so for me, when we did this, I settled on Fernando Torres being the last guy that I considered to be genuinely known to be world class that we brought in, and that was
how long ago was that?
What are we talking? 17 years ago.
Yeah, 2007. Yeah, 17 years. Yeah.
Close to 2 decades ago.
Jesus, if you don't feel old now, guys, if you don't feel old now after hearing that we bought Fernando Torres,
I added a couple of
years ago.
Mate, that's nearly 20. Okay, there was no need.
It certainly is, man. There's absolutely no need for that whatsoever, Lee.
Oh, that's
There's
fucking
absolutely
evil,
no need
that's
for
evil,
that.
20 years ago.
No. We'll move on. It was 8. Let's just agree it was around 8 years ago, and we'll move on. Yeah. God,
okay.
Man, Fernando.
And then, but the point of why I'm bringing that up though is too that like great, cool. Fernando Torres, El Nino, one of my favorite players to ever put on a red kit. That's one name.
I mean,
one name. Maybe put 2, maybe 3.
If we were linked,
maybe put DVD, put Ali in there.
But have we been linked to a world class guy?
Yeah.
Have we been linked? Because Lenny Oro, don't tell me again.
Well, no, we were linked to. I mean, there was a point where we were linked
people
to
in the room,
and that's the reason why I was saying Mbappe's mom apparently is like a big red fan out there or something like that, and we were linked to that.
Well, we took him for a ride in a helicopter.
I mean, right now we're linked to Kimmich. Again, that's another name that we've been linked to. I would say Kimmich is a world-class talent, certainly.
Yeah, that's a great late stage. This is what we were talking about the other night about me liking us to go outside of this. We only sign X, Y, and Z type players, and just to be able to go, well, there's a 28-year-old Kimmich that you could get 4 years out of. Just go and fucking do it.
Yeah, Suarez. I don't think Suarez, when he was playing in the Dutch league, was a world-class talent. Now, he's very similar to what the constructs of what you said for VVD, in that when he came to Liverpool, he surmounted himself as being a world-class talent. But I don't think he was at that stage previous to Liverpool. That's all I'm saying.
He destroyed Holland.
Player that was previously at that stage. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, he destroyed Holland, but again, it's the Dutch league. But he utterly destroyed. Yeah, he put up like the kind of numbers.
He put up crazy numbers.
That he put up. Yeah. At Barcelona, he put up those kind of numbers close to in Holland. He was sensational. He was like 40. He was like 52 contributions in 44. Something insane.
How much did he buy? How much did he buy?
22.8, I think, is the number that sticks in my head. So call it 23. But again, it is like Lee. It is madness is what he was doing. Not just you get those guys that scored a lot of goals in Holland. He was getting like a goal and an assist every fucking game, basically, at one point. Setting up chances for it. The guy was, but he was biting people and getting sent off and stuff. So people were like, "We're not touching that with a barge pole." We went in, we took the risk. There's taking a risk, man. Wow, like. I mean, he was trouble from day one. But
again, 22.8 million pounds, Brian, is what we paid for him from Ajax. 22.8 million.
35 for Carroll.
Yeah, the other guy on the same day. Yeah, some other guy. Didn't we bought some other guy on the same day? Yeah.
I mean, when you look back, we didn't even need 2 forwards. All we needed was Suarez. We could have spent that 35 on the defense.
Keep the Torres guy. Buy the Suarez guy and leave the Carroll guy. Everyone's happy. But Torres wanted out and his knees were broken. So, who knows? But they literally, I mean, people use that as a cliche that they passed each other. But Suarez and Torres literally walked past each other at Melwood as it was at the time.
Yeah, at the time, yeah.
Yeah, Torres is going to the airport, And Suarez had arrived. They literally walked past each other in the corridor.
They both speak Spanish, so I wish they had talked. They had like a couple of matzah or something like that, and got to like kind of like, why are you leaving? Why don't you just stay? That would have been great to see both.
And then the helicopter comes in. Someone hears a helicopter overhead, and it's bloody Andy Carroll in it.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, mate, Carroll's so shit. I don't understand.
Crying his Geordie tears.
How that happened. I don't understand how that happened because Carroll's just so shit. He was shit at Newcastle, mate, and then he was shit for us. I mean, I think he scored like a handful of goals for Newcastle, and one or two of them were like pearlers where he just tonked it. But anyone can hit the ball fucking hard. You know what I mean? A fullback, a centre back can do that. Buy it in because he did a few shots hard and they flew in. That was just bullshit.
6 good months. He had 6 good months basically at Newcastle because we bought him in January.
We were bloody desperate. That was desperation.
But that was a panic buy. Now that is your ultimate panic.
He was shit as a player, but even his fucking hair was an atrocity. You know what I mean? Did we have to buy someone with that hair?
Always wet. Somehow, always wet.
Always wet. Always wet. Oh my gosh. That's hilarious.
The oily wrestler.
I'm going to bring JK into the combo real quick here. Big up, JK. How you doing?
Big up, bro. I'm all good, bro. How you up, guys?
JK coming in the door.
Good, Jay.
Yeah. Mate. You're good. We're just talking a little bit of like bringing up a little bit about the stuff about like, what's going on with the transfers and the likes, but also just kind of like talking about the makeup of this club's heritage and history and the likes, and how there's I would love to see us bring in big names, but also big names mean also big egos normally. It means big salaries. It just means it's like having a team that's a happy place to be isn't exactly always the easiest thing to do. I know some people might say it's not important if the players like each other, just show up, play football, and leave. You don't have to like your teammates. Not
off the pitch, you don't. Let's get on with them at work. Yeah, not off the pitch.
Right, but at work, it helps if you have some type of relationship or some type of like you'll kind of like that whole like you've got your brother's back concept of that.
No dickhead.
Yeah.
But but also like I say, if you're on a basketball team, right, and you find out now, I'm going to get all these names and references wrong, right? But
I'll help you as best I can.
Yeah. So like you're on the fucking Pistons, right?
Okay.
Or you're on like I don't know San Antonio Spurs, right?
Okay.
And you find out that Shaq is coming in, right?
Okay.
Are you really going to care if Shaq is on like way more money than you? Or are you just going to go, we're winning titles, boys? You say, oh yeah, but Shaq is away. Oh yeah, I don't care. We're winning titles.
Right.
I think if a guy is that good when he comes into a team, like this isn't Yarrow, you know what I mean? He's joining, he's like some guy, some nobody coming in. He's on twice as much as the main point guard at the LA Lakers, and there's this new kid who's never done anything. It's like, well, why are you on like 10 million a year? But if someone comes in and everyone in the dressing room looks around and go, that guy makes us a better team, which means I win trophies, which means good for me. I'm not really going to really get my knickers into too much of a twist if he's on 800 grand a week. I don't know, maybe like for a lot of people, they really just think if he makes us better, and again, probably more importantly, as long as he doesn't take my place in the team, cool. I don't know, maybe a lot of it is that.
You have to keep that in mind too. I'll allow JK to kind of comment too, or say his 2 cents well, and then I'll go to Lee. I'll go to Lee when he comes back on the screen. I'll know that he's ready. But again, we have some phenomenal young talent. You spoke of Kwanzaa earlier. there's pathways, obviously, that we've created for these players, but those pathways don't mean that that means that you can now just be, you can take liberties with those pathways, which is what Euro would have done by trying to say demand playing time and to, you know, and to your salary is going to be higher than something than 3/4 of the practice of the wage group, and you're 18 years old. Like with that, there are some things that work for this club, and having that balance is the reason why a lot of it does work. And what I was going to reference, and I'll ask JK to comment on this point at least, is that we see that when it comes to, for instance, the youth academy. Our youth academy has some phenomenal players. When I heard that comment about we were going to break the wage structure for Rio, I was like, wow, this player must be phenomenal, be extra phenomenal, you know, for us to go to that extent. Obviously, again, I'll repeat this, that I've heard that that's not the case, that we didn't end up doing. He's on the same structured case as other players, but because he is, there's no shaking the apple cart in essence. You know, the players in our youth academy come in humble. They're not like, as in, there's the mindset that they carry on when they do get their opportunities to join the youth, the senior squad, are so well tempered and grounded that we have the abilities to have structured presence like we do. Do you what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts, JK? Is that something that you appreciate, or is that something that you would like to see change possibly?
No, I think you knocked the nail on the head about taking liberties, you know. I've got a top right back. He'll be ready in 2 years. We'll wait for him, you know, them sort of things. I'm not a big fan of them, because you never know what's going to happen to the lad. You know, he might start drinking, and he's dangerous, bro. So he might start drinking, or I don't know, have a bad injury, whatever it is. So for me, I don't like relying on players at a youth age. Like the way Kwanzaa and Connor came into the team is, for me, the best way to do it. No one's talking about you before the games. You end up being in the first team and you shine. No pressure, no nothing. I think Doak and Batatic have been the two guys the fans have been going on about for a long time. Look what happened to them both. Both sort of had a real bad last 2 seasons. So for me, I like the way Klopp allowed the youth players to come through when we got injuries, to show the fans there's something going on in the background, not just on the pitch, you know. But I think the owners should also keep up with the pace of the transfer market now in 2024. Villa, for example, they're going all out. You know, they got top, what was it, 4? They came 4th, yeah, Villa. And they want more now, where they seem more hungrier than us guys. We don't ever seem hungry, you know, for success. But for me, the youth system at the moment seems pretty shining.
Hand grenade there, JK. We don't ever seem hungry for success. Okay. You don't think we?
Not in that way, like say, the players, yeah, of course. I mean, the club, the owners, for example, just the club as a whole. It isn't like the Man City way or Real Madrid way, you know. Hungry, we've got to win.
Oh wait, I think your microphone went out a little bit there.
You've gone far away. I think you scooted away from your mic.
I can barely hear you, but I don't know if the chat can hear you.
I think he dropped his pen.
No, I dropped the headphone.
Yeah. Okay.
But JK, so what Ian says here, he can't remember a young player coming in having the impact Kwanzaa has made by looking so composed, top player. I'm bringing up those points because, like, again, I think that a lot of the players we've seen, whether it's Bobby Clark, whether it's McConnell, whether it's obviously Connor, whether it's been Kwanzaa, whether it's been Dan's at times, like those cases are examples of players that are exceptional, young, talented, potentially great players. But if we do go out and get a big name, or we do go out and get other players, like for instance, I just saw, and I'll bring up the question because I said I would, Gahey, right? I think YouTube name brought it up here. It says, he basically asked 65 million, for instance. Would you pay 65 million for Gahey, for instance? I personally wouldn't. I think Gahey is a talent. I definitely think he's an emerging talent for certain, but I don't know if he's that. Is he 65 million, pounds worth of talent that is going to now sit in between by putting that kind of a price tag on that acquisition? You're now sitting a player that you expect to probably play before you get to the likes of a Konate, or maybe even a Konate, but certainly a Kwanzaa, and you're kind of limiting their pathway that they've already achieved. In my opinion.
Well, it's like I'd be with JK very much in terms of you can go way down, you can go too far down any road, and you can end up in a scenario where you're saying, "Oh well, we're not going to buy anyone anywhere because we've got 11 guys who in 2 or 3 years' time are going to be brilliant, and if we put someone in, then that's going to block their pathway." That's not really how I see how it works. I mean, there's pathways that these are all kind of, they're not buzzwords, but they're football at the elite level is, you don't think these guys come, like you said, they come in humble. They come in humble in a way that we wouldn't see humble. These are some of the most highly strung, highly kind of, confident young men you're ever going to have the pleasure of being in the company of. These boys that get to this level at Liverpool, they are all the man. These boys, these 18, 19, 20-year-olds, how cocky and confident were you when you're 18, 19, 20? You're cock of the walk. You're out there. You're the man, yeah? These guys are getting paid the money to prove it. They're at Liverpool. They're not quiet, shy little kids. You have to be cutthroat to get to where you are in that world. Even at that level, you have to outshine everybody. So we talk about the Kwanzas and the Bellinghams with the confidence that they have. Go into any look. Let's not sugarcoat it. I've been in dressing rooms. You've been in dressing rooms. You show the slightest bit of weakness, you'll get ripped to pieces. Even by these young kids, you talk about banter. You hear these kids online. You think they're all nicey nice. No, they kill each other, man. So it's a harsh world. It's a really, really harsh world at the highest level of sport. So you get, but when you get to the first team to break in, there is no pathway when you get to the first team because a manager leaves, a manager changes. That's where the path starts or stops. Okay. Is at the edge of the first team. You then have to smash into that. You have to be good enough that no one can stop you. Go, Jesus, we can't deny this kid. It's not like we wait 2 years, then you come in. A manager changes, right?
Right.
He brings in his players. But it's great to have them there ready to go. But to make that final leap into it, to be good enough to play for Liverpool in a team that wants to win the league, the Champions League, a manager comes in 2-3 years. You can win it 2 or 3 titles in 2-3 years. So you can have these guys, but you can always have them. But you can't say, the point of getting around it is, it's great to have these guys, but I would never say, no, we're not going to buy a guy in position A because there's a young kid who in 3 years is going to be brilliant. We can deal with that when it happens, if he is brilliant. But those guys smash in. Maybe they get in at smaller clubs, but at a team like Liverpool, to become a Kwanzaa or a Bradley, you have to be just undeniable, is the word I choose. You have to be just undeniable. He just has to get in. And that's a really tiny percentage of those people. But you just always have those guys behind you. We can't always be saying we don't buy him because in 2 years' time, that guy will be deadly. That's okay. In 2 years' time, if he's deadly, then we can sell the guy that's there now. Mix it up. Have that talent and potential ready to go always, but also
Well,
have
I get
players in
that.
the
I
team.
get that. I understand where you're saying. I get that. Sorry. I get what you're saying. I was also going to say that what you said is spot on. I also think, though, one of the biggest, one unfortunate, but one of the biggest ways or biggest door openers is injuries, unfortunately. And quite often, I mean, a good number of these players have been fortunate.
Gotta be ready
I'm
to
going to
go.
say fortunate, but they've been fortunately ready for the opportunity when called upon because of injuries. They're not hoping on
you're
players. They're not
right, man.
hoping for players to be injured, obviously, but you
No,
have to
no,
be
quickly.
ready
You're
for
right. I
it.
think it's 99% of it's probably injuries.
Yeah.
If you look, when you look at it, it's like,
That's
when
what I
did you
think. It
get
more
your shot?
so, it's like injuries are the
Yeah, when
ways
did
that
you
you end
get
up
your
getting
chance?
your big opportunity. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's what I think.
I'll be
Yeah.
Moreno. Yeah, if you look back, when did you get your shot? When did you get your chance? Well, it was when your man got he did his ankle. I got in for a couple of games,
Sure.
and
You
that
could
was
you could
it.
argue
Never
that's
looked
how
back.
Trent kind of got his opportunity too, in a sense.
Andy Robbo, like everyone was saying, when are they going to drop Moreno? Like Klopp didn't drop Moreno until Moreno got injured. Then
Yeah.
Robbo got it.
Dan Robbo got Very good point. Very good point. So, I don't know. I just saw Bonkers give out a shout for Yilmaz, I think his name is, right? The Turkish player.
Burak Yilmaz.
I don't.
Good
It should be
striker,
interesting. That should be interesting.
Strong striker.
Is he that big name that makes you go yes?
No.
We'll go around. Let's go around the horn. Lee, is he the big name that makes you go yes?
No.
Okay. JK,
Nah, not for me.
Irishman.
More like things that make you go,
Okay. Shout out to the '90s. I got you.
Yeah. CNC Music Factory in the house,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I actually just saw a really good piece on Arsenio Hall that included because that song was a take off of Arsenio Hall, who had a segment in his show called "Things That Make You Go Hmm." So, but
okay.
sorry for that song.
Yellow suits and floral ties.
Yeah, nice bit of info, that, mate. I didn't know that. Didn't know that's where the title of the song come from.
Yeah. But yeah, that's not a name that moves you. What Coop? All right, go around the horn again.
I like him. No, he's quality.
Oh, yeah.
That guy. Oh yeah, I like him. He scores. He scores goals wherever he goes.
Are you doing the Euro and making songs about him, or
no? Is he what? Is it what do you call him? A needle mover? Yeah, he's the kind of guy that I'd be like, wow, that's a real clever signing. That's a real great play. But if it was like that's all you're doing, we're only getting a striker. Why are we only getting a striker?
Mm-hmm.
He's like we were saying earlier on. You get your DM, you get your centre back, and we spent a load of money, and then a week to go in the window, it's like, guess what? We just got this this deadly little attacker, deadly right winger. It's like that's what you want. A little bit of, because look, we're all fans, man. Nobody, we just like transfers and new players come in. It doesn't have to be a guilty pleasure. It's great. It's part of the game. It's really fun when you buy new players and you wonder about how good they're going to be. So it's fine to kind of want it to happen, and that's what we need. That's what keeps you interested. Not that's what keeps you interested, but it is all part of the game as well. So it has become a bit of a war and become ugly and all that. But there is a real enjoyment in buying new players and wondering how good they're going to be and what they might do for us. But again, the whole winning the transfer thing window is silly. But yeah, I just look forward to like announcing things like we brought this guy in. It's like, cool, he's deadly. Get him on the pitch.
Right. Yeah. Is what name out there? And I'll go this real quick too. We just got into that. And I'll let you start, JK, too. By the way, or let's let you start. I'll let you start. It's fine. But I was going to ask you, what name out there is a name that we're linked to that makes you go, yes, that's the name that I wanted to see us bring in. That's a name that I could, I could shout, yes, that's the name I wanted to see on this team.
Yeah,
Or is there
you
even a name connected to that makes you say that?
there is. But yeah, quickly about Yilmaz, I think he works hard for the team. No goals, no assists in the Euros anyway for him. So
No,
for me, he's
okay.
just a hard worker on the side he plays on the right side. And in the last game against, was it Holland? For me, probably Turkey's best player. He put a shift in. But other than that, I think I heard this morning that West Ham were trying to put a bid in for Kante from France. He plays in Saudi Arabia, and I'm thinking I'd take him for 2 years because he played pretty well for France in the Euros as well. So he's still got running. He's still got legs. That's one guy I would be like, whoa, yeah.
Okay.
34 now. I know what you're
Yeah.
saying. As long as he stays fit, you're gambling. If he stays fit and if he played like he did in the Euros for the next 2 years, yes.
You're talking about. Wait, you're saying Kanate?
No, Kante.
Kante, excuse me, Kanate. I meant to say Kante. Yeah.
Yeah, if you could tell me that he would stay fit and put out that level of energy somehow for the next 2 years,
I'll take him.
I would take him. Yeah, but it is a hell of a gamble. I mean,
I think it'll be high wages though. Yeah.
I wonder.
Oh, God knows what he's on. Jesus, yeah. He must be on about $500,000 a week over there or something like that.
It's got to be at the very least $500,000 a week, hasn't it? At the very least, I'd imagine he's on.
Buy a lot of minis for that.
Yeah, there have been some names that apparently have been demoted to the under 21s. Reese is one of those names. He's certainly once you have that. I know I just brought up the names that were on there, and his name was one of the names on there on that I don't say bloated, but that number 11 defender list out there when we were all saying we should probably have around 8, if not 9 defenders in that number. He's one of the names I just heard has been demoted to train with the U21s. That's according to Liverpool.com. And there was an admission that apparently Dominic Szoboszlai played through injury during the Euros in 2024, which is kind of a concern. I know that he's very, very, he loves his country, the whole nine is like, but there's no reason in pressing the issue to possibly, create a worse incident for yourself.
Depends on how playing through an injury you are. Like,
yeah, it depends on what the injury is.
Yeah, every footballer will tell you, I'm carrying a knock. But how carrying a knock are you? Like Harry Kane, big reason why he failed. He was taken off at halftime in the Euros, or not the Euros, in the Champions League, and he had a back injury, which they never played him out of. If you watch him at the Euros, played with a back injury. Was he unable to play? No. Was it like he had a broken leg and he dragged him? No. But he had an injury which affected him. And he played through it, which made him play bad. So, it's you've got to be really, really careful with that kind of stuff. If Szoboszlai, look, he was someone I was really excited to see at the Euros. I was thinking, right, look, this is going to be typical Euro stuff. He's going to look really, really good for Hungary, and I'm going to get really excited about how good he's going to be for Liverpool. Because
there are people on the cusp of saying basically they give him this year and that's it. Basically, that's kind of crazy.
Well, that'll be 2 seasons. If he's. I mean, how long do you give a guy? Well, it depends apparently. He's had a full season. I'd give him that.
Age and
but I'd give him his full season, and if everything's fine and dandy next season, but then everyone can say, "Oh, new manager." But I was just hoping to see, who is the guy we bought? Let's see him play with some freedom for Hungary. And he didn't. He was poor. we can get onto the fancy football later on. But I had him in my team at the start, thinking, he'll be on every, he'll be doing everything for them. Did nothing. Really didn't really do much at all. So someone
I got Big Tyler, by the way. He's giving us the first and second half players that played in. I know some people are asking about what was the result of the Preston behind the scenes or behind the closed doors game they played. We lost 1-0. That was updated early by Bernie. And then this is also some of the inside stats as well. I know Ian said he thought that they played pretty well considering we only had 2 weeks of intense training. And excuse me. And also the names on here. You can see the second half names of the players that actually got to play in the game. 25 players in total got to play in this game. So obviously this is one of those cases where there was like practically two squads with a little bit of subs here and there for each half. And then you also got to see, hey, you know what? Bradley, but you see Vandenberg in that starting lineup list there. I mean, like I honestly do think Scott is going to give him a committed, real opportunity to say, hey, if you want to play for this club, don't undersell yourself. This isn't the case that you're going through with Klopp. I'm a new coach. You have a new opportunity, and if you really want to make an opportunity for yourself, you could have it here. Do you think I see you shaking your head, Lee? You want to say something to that? No, I know Irishman's got a take on it.
No, I just
saying, give him a chance and all that. Like, see how he's doing now. He's come back from Mainz. If he's got more to give us now, like now that he's more experienced, I'm okay with that. But as I say, it is a centre back that I've been wanting for a long time. Like in the squad, I wanted one last summer, and we didn't get one. And I still want one now. But I do also want to see Vandenberg be given a chance. I mean, at the end of the day, City do have 5 centre halves, so we could still buy one and accommodate Vandenberg, Quanta, Canate, and Van Dijk. City have got 5 centre halves. Why can't we?
Yeah. I was looking at that front line of Doak, Salah, and Fab. I think that's an interesting front line. I didn't get a chance to see the game. I'm sure they're going to try to see if I could see some of the highlights from the game. But if I look at that lineup, or if I look and see that lineup, that to me says Salah in the middle, most likely, Doak on the right, and Carvalho on the left, most likely. Which would be interesting, certainly interesting, or if they played it more like the format of what you see Real, which is like the wingers play more like inside forwards more so, and maybe Salah was playing more of like a 10 role for this, and that would be certainly a pleasant surprise to see.
They're just training games, though. Just training. All they are is they're for fitness. All they are is for fitness. It's 11. They throw 11. You can't read anything into them.
Okay.
Every single year, this is pre-season.
Yeah, totally.
These are behind. This is what they do. Yeah. You literally get 11 players on the pitch to fill a game, and you say, go out and get minutes in your legs. They're purely fitness exercises. You can't read anything into anything until probably the last preseason game, and then because that will be when it's like, okay, well, that's the 11. That's right now it's all about you've got the likes of Yaros, Carvalho, Doak, these kind of guys, Vandenberg. Then you'll see it'll get pared down as it goes through. You get 45 minutes of an 11, then 45 minutes of another 11. But you can see patterns of play. You can see probably tactics.
Yeah, Ian's backing up what he said. Yeah, he says Doak was on the left and Salah on the right today, but just a fitness run.
They're just fitting. You're totally meaningless. Yeah, completely meaningless. Meaningless is, yeah. No, they are. They are. They're literally meaningless games. You get them all out, run them in, and just see. I would still have a tenner on Vandenberg not being here. No, on Vandenberg, I'd have a tenner on him not being here when the season kicks off. I just think it's the guys. I mean, we bought him after we won the Champions League. We're still talking about the guy. I just think he'll go out somewhere else. Of all the people that kind of get the games that I'd say, oh, ignore that, ignore this, ignore that. I would I'd just be keeping an eye on Carvalho because I'd be really interested to see, does he actually stay? Because if he does,
he's a player with talent. He's a player that's
be a really interesting
renewed, life on his existence at Liverpool with a new coach.
Does he stay? If he stays, he's someone who we haven't considered at all.
Right.
And if he's part of the first team project, he's a really interesting player. Really interesting.
Yeah. Well, before we allow for the doors of the Liverpool to open and allow for any of the Reds here today to go on to their weekend destinations. Is there anything you guys want to bring up or say before we allow for the people to do what they need to do? Lee, do you have anything you want to bring up or say? Or I'll start with the Irishman. I'll start with the Irishman. Well, I see you're thinking, so I'll bring up the Irishman first.
Okay, yeah, no, just welcome back. So we've been away for about a week now, so welcome back, and it's really good to see. I was a little bit worried that maybe people would have been kind of otherwise engaged, but we've got loads of people in chat tonight, loads of different people, loads of comments, and it didn't take long for it to. I'm not going to say fill up, but by our standards, it's been really good. So I'm just really happy to see that even though we were away for, what was it, 5 days, 6 days, that everyone was still ready to go and hasn't forgotten. So keep coming in because we're back now. We're not going to go away for that kind of length of time again. So, we're getting ready for pre-season has already started. So, big up to everybody that came in and thanks very much.
Definitely. JK, is there anything you want to say to people?
I want to say nice to getting on the show with you guys again. Also, congratulations to Brian. He won the Euros Fantasy League.
I can bring that up.
Oh, yes. Well, I didn't want to bring it up, but
I bet you didn't.
I did it for
you.
I did.
He finished with 358 points. Daryl 336, me 330, Bonkers Euros 323, 12th man 290. Cosmic, my bro, 30. He finished with 212, and then Daz finished with 208. So good you got a good point there, Brian. Nice. Got to do one for the.
Daryl was bullish. Daryl was bullish. He hasn't been in, but look, I led it from day one. And I was expecting a challenge, and it never really arrived. I'm disappointed in you boys. Hopefully you do better next time.
I finished 28 points behind.
No, it was close. But at the end, I was expecting somebody to just like pull it out and just go, you led every day and lost on the last day because that's happened to me before, and that stings. But it was good. It was good. Daryl was catching up and you were catching up, so we can do it properly over the year for the fantasy football. Everybody, it's a bit more involved.
I would drop the ball.
Talpa dropped the ball totally. He didn't even
on the final. I didn't have a team to make a last minute charge.
No.
So I guess I just totally messed that up.
No, but some people. I wish Dara was here though, because he made some very, very strange choices over the last two games, and he might have won it if he hadn't made some very, very strange choices. I thought over the last couple of games. But that's not for us to reason why,
Yeah.
A lot of people went very England heavy, which I think was a mistake. A lot of people let their England bias kind of run with them, because Harry Kane was not everybody's. Oh, Harry Kane! Everyone had Harry Kane all the time. It's like, I don't know, he's not really doing it. But I think the star players in it. I know probably Lamal and Nico Williams were probably two of the standouts from it.
I think Gakpo as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gakpo in the early game. Yeah, Gakpo was goals and really good. But
I think Gakpo definitely made a
Danny Olmo,
little bit of a
Danny Olmo
shout.
did well.
Olmo, yeah.
Yeah.
Someone were linked to it, just as someone were linked to it. I thought Olmo was. But as I said earlier on, Szoboszlai did leave me down a little bit. I thought, not me, but disappointed.
Disappointed me as well.
Yeah, I think most of us had him with a little bit of a Liverpool hat on early on.
Yeah. I even had Trent in mind.
Yeah, I had Trent in a couple expected, and he dropped. Yeah.
We'll talk about the Trent thing. We'll talk about Trent soon enough. Trust me on that. We'll definitely have to talk about Trent because,
Well, he's gone now.
I haven't heard a lot of the people out there that were beating their chest about Trent in the midfield and the experiment and the whole nine. So yeah. But it is. We'll talk about that soon. But congratulations, definitely to the Irishman, who ended up having a total of 358 points. He is the champion of the 12th Man Euros Challenge. Daryl, like JK said, 336, very close. Got second by just 6 points over JK. Definitely, JK made an effort. But yeah, Bonkers definitely did well too. Was very close to third place, 7 points out from third place, and then the rest of us, different story. But anyway, I don't know. I see Lee going through some violence there on this.
Oh, he's got a fly problem. Yeah,
I know. I saw it earlier.
You know what? With me, I will kill the odd fly, but I don't like doing it. I prefer to let them out the window, but I'd never kill a bee. I could never kill a bee.
No, you can't kill bees.
Around your living room. That's bloody evil, killing one of them, because they're dead mellow bees, aren't they? You just
very slow.
Doing that, mate. Yeah, they're slow.
Yeah, so
slow and easy to hit. And they're no trouble. I mean, what do bees do? Flies land on your food and puke on it and that, and then suck it up.
Oh gosh!
Wasps are different.
What sting your horn, sting your bees don't do anything to you.
Bees will just sit there going, squash me. They just ask to be squashed. And you're like, dude, come on, fly away, will you? And you'd be like, yeah, there's no fun in
an unspeakably evil act. An unspeakably evil act to kill a bee just because it's buzzing around your roof. Now, a fly, they're annoying and they keep coming near you as well. But
and there's a great sense of satisfaction if you get a fly, like you whack it or something. Great sense of, like the bee, you'll just be sitting there. It'd be like,
good.
I mean, yeah, anyone could like push over a granny or something. A fly that's like buzzing around. Yeah, you gotta catch them. Bang.
A poor old bee as well. Have you heard the noise it makes, like when someone hits it? Like, because I've heard them.
Yeah.
The poor things themselves, like, aren't they?
Yeah.
Leave the bees alone. Let them make their money.
Yeah. Getting away from the violence of bees and flies. Odyssey says it is understood that Darwin Nunez, Lucho, Maka, Trent, and Joe will play no part in the U.S. tour, with their late report dates rendering any travel pointless. I hope that they still do travel with the team. I think it is, despite the fact that you don't get to play. I think it's still a good time to bond with your teammates when you make those kinds of travel, when you make those trips. There's a lot of obviously fans like myself that will be going to the games that, we want to see them play, obviously. But I mean, if we're not going to be able to see them play, it'd be nice to at least see them there and be able to say, oh, we got to see them in person, or maybe because they're not going to be a part of the game, that might free up a little bit more time for them to engage with fans more directly, and be more like ambassadors for the team on the trip.
Don't tell that to Darwin.
Yeah, I know the Darwin
There's-
thing might. Darwin might be. He might be like trying to dodge the law. Who knows? But I mean, like Johnny Law.
Oh, Darwin, what a guy.
Darwin will go on the run. Only you go on the run.
I'm going back. You're gonna run to South America. So I'm going back home.
Yeah. Well, last but not least, Lee, is there something you want to say to the people before we let them go? We didn't get a chance. We definitely wanted to make. I almost forgot about about announcing the Euros 2024 fantasy challenge winner. But that got us a little sidetracked before we got to say. Is there anything that you would like to say? And then we'll allow for the Irishman, since he is the Euros challenge winner. We'll allow for him to have the final thought.
Final word.
Yeah.
No, I just want to say if Darwin does go on the run from the law and he's like a fugitive and he knocks at your back door one night and asks for some food, like because he's sleeping in the shed or something, humour him, don't deny him. Don't be an arsehole.
Never.
Yeah.
You help the man. He didn't mean it. He didn't mean it. He just
You'll never walk alone. You'll never walk alone. Hey,
I'll help him out. I'll
have him do like a pool aerobics or something like that to make sure he's staying fit the whole night.
Think about
it. Magwitch from Great Expectations, the way the kid brings him food and stuff like when he's hiding out on the floor. I was thinking that sort of popped into me, man. I don't know why.
Yeah. Oh man! All right. Well, with that said,
you said I could have the last word. It's because you do have a very Charles. It's because you do have a very Charles Dickens vibe, Lee. That's why you thought that up. You have a very Charles Dickens vibe about you.
I'll accept that.
Yeah. No, it's a compliment. Yeah.
It's a compliment. It's certainly, Charles Dickens is an amazing writer. Absolutely. The Irishman will have the final word of today. Go ahead.
Play fantasy football safely. There you
go. There you have it. The wise words of the Irishman. The wise words of the Irishman. And the last I would say, I guess I want him to have the last words, but I'll speak for all of us in saying up the Reds is certainly the sentiment that we always want to say and believe in our hearts. Up the Reds always, whether you're on the run or not. Up the Reds.
Yes.
All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And definitely take care. Thank you for joining us after our little hiatus here. See you guys tomorrow. All right. Take care, guys. Oh, and panel, please stick around. Panel. But yes, peace out.